Savings and Loan of Greene County reminds you, don't fall victim to debit card fraud. With the Card Valet mobile app, you'll get real-time alerts when your card is used. Plus, you can review transactions and set spending limits. Download it today from the App Store or Google Play. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, NMLS 458729. First Federal of Greene is hiring now for the Taylorstown office. You can become a full-time customer service rep. Apply in person or online now at firstfederalofgreene.com.
Orthodontics isn't just for children. Orthodontics is for everyone. Choose Good Orthodontics. Doctors Bob and Ron Good, board-certified specialists in orthodontics and facial orthopedics. Call for an appointment, 412-655-4660. Good Orthodontics with offices in Washington, Mount Lebanon, and on Old Clairton Road, Pleasant Hills. See all the good a simple smile can do. Call Good Orthodontics, 412-655-4660. Excellence is a good choice. Choose Good Orthodontics.
Welcome back to Wash High Stadium. Coach's Corner is coming up in a few minutes. Tonight's matchup between New Brighton and Wash High is the 9th all-time game between the two schools, dating back to the first meeting in 1971, a 25-0 Lions win at home. Wash High won the back end of the home-and-home series the next year here at Wash High Stadium. Since New Brighton's 34-21 win in 1988, the Little Prexies have won the last 5 games, including 2 playoff victories, the 2001 WPIAL semifinals, and a first-round game here in Washington 3 years ago. New Brighton missed last year's COVID-reduced playoff field, though the Lions would have qualified under normal circumstances. 2 years ago, New Brighton's win over Apollo Ridge in the opening round was their first in the postseason since beating Jeanette in the 2001 quarters, a week before facing the Little Prexies on their way to the WPIAL and PIAA championships. The Lions beat Freedom last week to claim the final Midwestern Conference playoff berth. The 20-8 New Brighton win was played in mud and rain, the Lions surviving 3 turnovers and a ground game that managed just 20 yards on 33 attempts. Quarterback Gary Pugh passed for 200 yards and a pair of touchdowns, connecting with Keandre Williams and Blake McKay for the scores. Wash High has won the last 42 consecutive games on this field, dating back to the last time the Little Prexies didn't get out of the first round, 2013. Wash High has reached the playoffs now in 12 of Mike Bosnick's 13 seasons as head coach, and the 11 consecutive playoff berths, by far the longest streak in the 2A classification. Facing rival McGuffey with the outright Century Conference title on the line last week, Wash High rallied in the game's final 20 seconds to beat the Highlanders 41-34. Just the second on-the-field game in a month for Wash High. Devon Fuse threw for 4 touchdowns, including the game winner with 3 seconds left, and ran for 2 more touchdowns. Xavier Willis caught 2 TD passes in the win, including the finale, capping the school's 15th unbeaten and untied regular season all-time. Now, the Little Prexies look to snap their 2-game playoff losing streak, having fallen to Avonworth in the 2019 WPIAL championship game and at Apollo Ridge in last year's quarterfinals. It's New Brighton versus Washington with a spot in the 2021 WPIAL 2A quarterfinals on the line. Coach's Corner comes your way next here on WJPA.
At Huntington, we've been asking ourselves, is it possible to lend money at 0 interest? And it totally is. Introducing Standby Cash. When you need extra cash, you can qualify for between $100 and $1,000 at Huntington. And it's free when you auto-pay us back across 3 months. Why would a bank do that? Just to look out for people. That's how we reinvent banking. Huntington, welcome. Without automatic payments, 12% APR. Eligibility requirements apply. Amount available is based on customer eligibility. Learn more at huntington.com/standbycash.
Become one of tomorrow's leaders today. Begin your journey with the right education at Washington and Jefferson College. Join us for the W&J Experience Visit Day tomorrow. Learn about the W&J College community as you meet with faculty, students, staff, and coaches. Enjoy campus tours and explore all we have to offer. W&J, your future, founded here. Visit washjeff.edu/visit to register. That's washjeff.edu/visit.
In Coach's Corner with Wash High head coach Mike Bosnick. First, a look back, crazy ball game, jump up 13-0, really dominating the early part, and then it was just hang on from that point. Your thoughts about last Friday?
Well, it was one of the greatest games I've been part of, and the most exciting games. I think not playing for so sparingly. I think once in about a month. It really hurt us. It hurt our conditioning and really threw us off. But I'm just really proud of the effort by the kids.
They score. They get the 2-point play to take the lead on you with 20 seconds to go in the game. Surprised, first of all, by the short kickoff, but then you weren't surprised at all by what you got out of your kids down to the finish.
Well, I'll be honest with you, our guys didn't even blink an eye. I mean, they came to the sideline and they said they're going to get the ball and score, and they did. And I think one thing that really needs to be noted was the great play that Brendan Cyber made on the kickoff, knowing the ball right away. He made that possible by saving a lot of time.
Well, yeah, you think if he runs for 4, 5, 6 steps, what happens at the end doesn't happen.
No, it was very intelligent. It was a great play.
All right, let's shift gears to tonight. You get to play at home again in a first-round game. This is a place that you've been just really incredibly successful. 42 straight wins here, those kind of things. How important is it for your kids and your fans to be here at home?
Well, obviously, we have a long winning streak, and football. It's important to these kids and to the community, and we're excited to be here.
Football is maybe more than anything else. It's a game of routine. It's a game of pattern. It's a game of familiarity, and being here at home is just a big part of that.
Yeah, we strive to get better every week, and the shutdown really hurt us. But we're excited to get back, make some gains. Hopefully get some guys healthy and make a run here.
All right, last Friday you get the win, you break the film down, you go over that, and then Saturday night you get started on New Brighton. What did you see from the films you have on New Brighton?
Well, their quarterback's very athletic, and that concerns you. New Brighton always has tough, scrappy kids. They're a lot like Wash High, and so they're not going to lay down for anybody.
The fact that McGuffey got to the edge at times with their quarterback play, does looking back at that help you try to teach your kids up about not letting that happen tonight?
Well, I think, as disappointing as that was last week, the good thing is when we went back and watched the film, they were very correctable mistakes. I felt like we were out of position a lot just from the fact of not playing.
All right, good luck tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Wash High head coach Mike Bosnick. More on our pregame show here on WJPA in just a minute.
Hello, President George Washington here. Have you heard the news? The amazing checking rewards program at Washington Financial Bank is now called Rebellion Checking, a program that benefits you, the customer. New name, same perks, like refunds on ATM fees and cash back on purchases. Learn more and join the rebellion at washfin.bank. That's WASHFIN.bank. Member FDIC.
If you're hurt or injured in an accident, do you know what to do or what not to do? The first thing you should do is call Attorney Brian Peasy in Washington, 724-228-9000. Insurance company lawyers are working to fight your claim, and Attorney Brian Peasy will be working too, for you. Help is right here in Washington. No need to go to Pittsburgh. Call Attorney Brian Peasy, 724-228-9000. Small town attention, big city results.
Ran through a whole bunch of notes about this game, including the fact Washington hosting an opening round game, 10th time in 11 years, with wins against Mount Pleasant, Shady Side Academy, Steel Valley, Deer Lake, Southside Beaver, Freedom, and New Brighton during that run, losing to Seton LaSalle in 2013. That's the last time Wash High lost on this field. The Little Prexies at home again here tonight. New Brighton missed last year's tournament. Their win against Apollo Ridge in 2019 before losing to Avonworth in the quarters was the Lions' first playoff win since they beat Jeanette in the 2001 quarters a week before losing to the Little Prexies in the WPIAL semis on Washington's way to a WPIAL state championship. The Lions are here tonight because they beat Freedom last week 20-8, a week after knocking off Riverside. Those back-to-back wins follow a 4-game losing skid, losing to the other 4 playoff teams out of the Midwestern Conference, and those are Laurel, Beaver Falls, Mohawk, and Neshannock. The playoff brackets has number 1 Steel Valley hosting Beth Center. Stowe Rock's the 2 seed, taking on Shady Side Academy. That game at Peters Township. Laurel seeded 3rd, hosting McGuffey. Talked about this in our opening segment. The Highlanders are 5-5, but Laurel and everyone else would do well to look past that record and see the toughest schedule in the classification with games against AAA playoff Southmoreland, against Stowe Rocks, against Lindsley Academy. You would do very well to look past that 5-5. Now, on the other side of that, the Highlanders lost 5 times. So, you play the toughest schedule, but you're not going to get much love if you end up where they are. And they finished 3rd in the Century Conference, ahead of only Beth Center, who got in the playoffs. The 4 seed Washington hosting New Brighton. Beaver Falls 5 at home tonight at Reeves Stadium in Beaver Falls against Western Beaver, a game that those 2 teams played in a non-conference earlier in the year. That winner and our winner will play next week. If Washington wins, it will be here at the Wash High Stadium or somewhere in this vicinity, if as long as the question about the size of the facility doesn't become one that's determined to be more than what the facility can hold. The 6th seed is Sarah Catholic hosting Neshannock tonight. The 7th seed is Churches Houston, home at Buccaneer Stadium tonight against Mohawk. Mark Uriah and Bill Duquette there to call that one. And the 8-9 matchup at Southside up in Hookstown is Southside home with Ligonier Valley. A year ago, Beaver Falls rolled through the 2A playoffs. They won their 2nd WPIAL title in 4 years and 5th overall. The Tigers were the 2016 AAA champions, their first championship since 1984, though they'd spent quite a bit of time in WPIAL finals. And if it works out that the 4 and 5 win in the 2A bracket, we're going to reprise the 2001 WPIAL championship game here 20 years later, as Washington would host the Beaver Falls Tigers. Just in case you didn't remember that, the score that Saturday at Heinz Field, the first AA championship game played at Heinz Field, Washington 24, Beaver Falls 14. 35 years of WPIAL championships since Title Day got started. They're in the mid-'80s, then at Three Rivers Stadium. 35 years, 18 different teams have won AA titles. Aliquippa has 8 of them. Steel Valley 4, South Fayette and Washington 3 apiece. Burrow, Jeanette, St. LaSalle, and South Park each won 2 in that time frame. Happy to be joined here in the booth by the coach, Doc, George Lambie. Good to have you, George.
Bob, it's always good. I reflect back to 1984 when we sat in this sort of the same box. I know it's a little different.
It is. It's a lot different. We were over that way a little bit. And, we were to the scoreboard side of the 50.
So good Washington football. I had to laugh in that game. Of course, a young man by the name of Rick Miller played for that team, and then Rick and I had the opportunity to coach together through the years. So take some joy from that.
Take a peek back to last week, wild ball game. Just really a wild ball game.
It really was, and it was a contrast in styles, obviously, with 2 different approaches offensively. Both teams were real physical. Both teams were well coached and played hard. And I think we'd be less than honest if we would say that Washington wins the ball game, at least for the last 20 seconds, on the Von Fuse's ability level. And, I know that, shouldn't say I know, but I tend to believe their coaches recognize that. They talked about the fact that they do work on those kinds of things and practice some. But nonetheless, having coached a couple of extremely good athletes through my years, the Lawn Fuse is a rare opportunity to coach.
He is a generational type player, maybe a semi-generational type player. He's not Brian Davis, but he is an outstanding athlete. There were a couple of issues that we talked about at the time last week. They got talked about post game. They got talked about in the paper. Some of them did, not all of them. I think the Little Prexies benefited on the first play that Fuse ran. I think the wide receivers were moving ahead of the snap. I think they got away with that. I think, as you look at the film, I think Devon Fuse was across the line of scrimmage when he threw the touchdown pass. I also think that there were 8, 10, 12 plays where McGuffey's blockers were chopping or cut blocking, and that wasn't called either. So, there's a lot to happen, a lot for 6 guys to be watching the entire time. And, and the fact that we can pull out a couple of plays like that is really a testament to the work that they do. Yeah, they miss calls. That happens. Players miss blocks, drop passes, fumble the football. Coaches make bad decisions at times. All of that works together. There's human beings, and it's going to happen. But it was a wildly entertaining game here at Wash High Stadium last Friday night.
Oh, it was. And as I said last Friday, and I'll say again, it was the way high school football ought to be. It was exciting. It was entertaining. Both coaches are committed to their teams winning, and they clearly showed that. The only thing I would say about the last play of the game, offensive for Washington, was, McGuffey saw it for defense. I mean, it wasn't like the fact that he was across the line of scrimmage deterred their secondary from making a coverage ability. So, there's a lot. It's more than just an official's decision. I mean, I've long said in these last years that, and I feel bad about this, I don't know how to rectify it, but a lot of these guys in officiating, I came through coaching when officials were really, really good. I mean, really good, all the way up and down, A, double A, triple A, quad A back then. But like the mechanics on that play didn't let the call be made. That guy's got to stay. That wingman has to stay on the line of scrimmage, or he can't make that call. And he faded. And I kind of had a feeling that was the case. But I can show you lots of times where, you watch a game, and if you've been a coach and you've worked as hard as some of our coaches do, and I have in the past, there's things you watch in a game. I see a lot of formational problems. You watch a lot of punts. I could tell you that in this game, there's always going to be a punt with only 6 guys on the ball. And that's a penalty.
Yes, it is.
And, while it's not a big deal, it's still a penalty. And so, I mean, it is what it is. But it was a great game. I know the McGuffey guys are disappointed. Their last drive was really special. I mean, the touchdown pass was really special. And again, understanding that the contrasted styles is important because I like that. I mean, I don't know if I didn't tell you this when I started. When you asked me to come back and we do games every week, I watched the spread offense on YouTube because it really wasn't the thing when I was coaching. And candidly, I guess I confess I don't really like it that much. But but with that being said, I had to understand and learn about it, and I did. At least a little bit anyhow. But those guys last week, I mean, Washington runs good eye. They do run some spread, but then they'll run even that sort of, old school T offense that they run. And of course, McGuffey ran the double slot, triple option, power toss thing that they do in counter game. And there's some wing T in it. All hell. But, so it was just great. I mean, it was just a lot of good high school football. And folks that came last week got more than their money's worth.
It did indeed. 41-34, Washington with the win. Their 42nd consecutive win here at home. They'll try to extend an 8-year streak into the quarterfinals over the next 48 minutes of game action. Break here at Wash High Stadium. We're back on WJPA and the Trib Live High School Sports Network in just a moment.
Slovenian Savings and Loan gives you the best of both worlds. When you bank with Slovenian Savings and Loan, you get the most up-to-date conveniences, including their new mobile banking app, so you can bank anywhere, anytime, and checking accounts with great rates without all the fine print. Combine that with traditional values and the ability to build personal customer relationships. It's everything you want from your bank. Slovenian Savings and Loan on Boone Avenue in Strabane. Learn more at sloveniansavings&loan.com.
The Winter Festival of Lights, a holiday tradition at Ogilvy and Wheeling, is open now through January 9th. Marvel at 300 acres of twinkling holiday lights and displays over a 6-mile drive. New this year, a 70 feet tall welcome tree combining color, music, lights, and animated images, and many of your favorite sights come to life this year with sound. The Festival of Lights is open now through January 9th at Ogilvy. Find out more at ogilvy.com/lights.
George, I know you never dealt with anything like what we've dealt with the last 2 years in terms of being a head coach during this COVID stuff, and I've said to Mike Bosnick a couple of times that this year seems to be worse than last year's impact. We delayed the start last year. We started and we just went to the finish. This year it's been stop and go, and Washington got affected by other teams' issues. Best center forfeiting. Then the Uniontown game was a Washington problem as well, postponed. Then played Charleroi. Then Fraser forfeited because they didn't have enough players after missing the week before with only, I think, 2 players eligible to play when they were supposed to play best center. New Brighton wrestling with that. Their head coach, Joe Grieco's been out of circulation for a week or so, a little over a week. He is here tonight, but the reason we didn't have Joe Grieco on our pregame show is because he's still not 100% and didn't want to engage in that conversation there, and I certainly recognize that. But I mean, the start and stop and start that's brutal on a program, on a team that is just built on routine so much. Football in particular is more routine. This is what we do Monday. This is what we do Tuesday. And there's reasons why we do those. And when that routine gets all twisted around and changed every week, it's tough.
I couldn't agree more. And, you know, our big routine change used to be if we played a team that played on Friday night or Saturday afternoon. So that was our big, you know, these poor kids. And I really did. I felt so bad for Washington from that perspective because not only did it hurt their routine development, it took away some games for those seniors. And, you know, I've long been a believer of trying to give the majority of the teams across WPIAL. I still believe we should play 10 games a year. That's just my old way of thinking because the majority of kids don't get to play these many games.
Well, and almost every team now is playing 10 games. They're, you know, maybe we'll get rid of the week 0 moniker and go weeks 1 to 10. Maybe that will.
Well, I mean, however that works, but it's the same concept.
Correct.
Losing games for a kid who, you know, some of these kids are never going to put a college football helmet on. Frankly, probably most of them.
Yep.
So, you know, it's an experience and it's a valued experience. So, I felt bad for the Washington kids this year, losing all those games, and for Coach because he had to keep them moving, even though, I mean, 3 out of the last 4 weeks before the game, he didn't play. That's crazy.
It is indeed. The captains are meeting. I believe Washington won the toss, and the Little Prexies are going to defer to the second half, so they're going to put the New Brighton offense out there first. Kickoff, WPIAL 2A playoffs, opening round. New Brighton at Washington when we come right back.
If you drive a vehicle or own property, you need insurance. This is Scott Day from the Day Insurance Agency. If you're in South Fayette, West Allegheny, or the airport area, Hickory, Burgettstown, or Washington, we're not far from you, and we'll help make sure you're covered, which is why you have insurance to begin with. The Day Insurance Agency on East Maiden Street in Washington, on Main Street in Hickory, or online at dayinsurance.com.
over-the-shoulder grab. Cameron O'Brien, touchdown, 94 yards.
W&J plays another must-win game this week when the 22nd ranked Presidents travel to take on Carnegie Mellon. Hear W&J football on 1450 AM WJPA and online at WJPA.com. Coverage starts with Presidents football preview at 12:30. W&J football on 1450 AM WJPA. Brought to you by Account Master and Money Concepts, Bukar Group, Slovenian Savings and Loan, and visit WheelingWV.com.
Nick Blanchett to kick off for the Little Prexies. Washington wearing the Columbia blue jerseys and pants, white helmets. New Brighton with the white jerseys, gold pants trimmed in maroon helmets. Blake McKay and Keandre Williams back deep to receive. Referee Ed Boyovsky leading the crew. Jim Shahan, the umpire. Todd McCollum, the headlinesman. Jim Sapeski, the line judge. Don Boyovsky, the field judge. And Ron McShane is the back judge. Referee Boyovsky marks the ball, and the Little Prexies on the run-up. The kick will be taken at about the 18-yard line. A return by Eric Montanez, and he gets only to the 21. Little Prexies close quickly. A little hesitant on where Montanez wanted to take that kick, and the Little Prexies all over him.
Carlos Harper, who, of course, was a dynamic player for Washington, was the young man who chased him down from behind. And that does not bode well for New Brighton, I'll say that.
3-yard return. 1st and 10 from the 21-yard line, single back in the backfield. And it's going to be a running play right, hitting the backfield and taken down on the carry by Deshaun Harmon. Harmon actually loses a couple.
I think it's Cameron Carter-Green who has been outstanding for the Little Prexies over the last couple of years. At that time, he just squeezed down the line of scrimmage and made a nice hit.
You mentioned a couple of times last week about Cameron Carter-Green being upset, talking with officials, talking with teammates, and the cut chop is a part of what had him distracted. Trips right, single receiver to the left, single back, 2nd down and 12 from the 19. Pugh calls for the snap, slings it quickly to the right, set the screen up over the 25, and now the sideline, 50. Into Washington territory. The Little Prexies just missed the blockers, missed the tackle in the goal line, and it's a touchdown for Eric Montanez. Just a quick screen to the trip side and gone.
It's a wide receiver screen. They're in trips formation. They just throw the ball out to the one man who steps back, and the other two guys go downfield and block. And once they made the pass completion, he obviously can run, and he ran all the way to the end zone. I thought Devon Hughes had a shot at him, but he just kind of finished it off and scored.
81 yards on the touchdown pass. Extra point kick chipped up and good by Caden Foblinch, and New Brighton stuns the Little Prexies. Lions 7, Washington nothing. Kickoff on WJPA when we come back.
First Federal Savings and Loan of Greene County reminds you, don't fall victim to debit card fraud. With the Card Valet mobile app, you'll get real-time alerts when your card is used. Plus, you can review transactions and set spending limits. Download it today from the App Store or Google Play. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, NMLS 458729. First Federal of Greene is hiring now for the Taylorstown office. You can become a full-time customer service rep. Apply in person or online now at firstfederalofgreene.com.
Orthodontics isn't just for children. Orthodontics is for everyone. Choose Good Orthodontics. Doctors Bob and Ron Good, board-certified specialists in orthodontics and facial orthopedics. Call for an appointment, 412-344-4663. Good Orthodontics, with offices in Mount Lebanon, in Washington, and in Pleasant Hills. See all the good a simple smile can do. Call Good Orthodontics, 412-344-4663. Excellence is a good choice. Choose Good Orthodontics.
Old Prexies get beat to the sideline, and Montanez takes it to the house. 59 seconds in, and the Lions in front 7-0. Kickoff. It's on the hash, picked up by Tayshawn Levy, 25-30. Levy out across the 30 and almost ran out of attack. Lost the football. Little Prexies get on it at the 45-yard line. Carlos Harper there, Johnny on the spot on the loose pigskin.
And the last two kickoffs, Carlos Harper's made big plays. The last one he made a tackle, and that time he covered the fumble. And fortunately for Washington, that being the case, but starting in good field position, Levy coming out as he normally does, explosively, and gets the ball up to the 45-yard line. So we'll see what approach Washington wants to take tonight. They tend to be kind of, in and out of different kinds of offensive ideas. They start out in the pro eye, so we'll see how they go about it.
First and 10 from the 45. I backfield. Tailback gets the call. It's Levy. Levy's got 4, doesn't get 5. Got smacked down right at the midfield stripe.
Washington came out pro eye and ran the lead play to the left side into the short side on offense. New Brighton's come out and basically they're locked up man-to-man. They're playing an 8-man front, and their wide corners are locked up. The far corner, Montanez, was nose-to-nose with the receiver from Washington. So that's interesting because if Tayshawn Levy breaks through the line of scrimmage, there's nobody to try to stop him after that.
Gain of 5, second down and 5 at midfield. Griffin wide out this way. Tight end covered the far side. Levy took the handoff, bounces it to his right, gave some ground. It ends up being taken down by Kyler Rombold after a gain of just a yard.
And Tayshawn Levy running to the right, lead play again. He tried to bend it to the outside a little bit. Nice job that time defensively for New Brighton in that they forced him to do that, and then Rumbold came up and made a nice tackle because Levy is known to run out of those kinds of tackles, but not that time. So third down now for the Little Prexies.
New Brighton 4-6 on the year. Again, a 4-game losing skid before winning their last 2, beating Riverside and Freedom to get in. Flags ahead of the snap, and the Lions may have gotten into the neutral zone. If so, it's a Washington first down, and that is the case. Move the ball to the 44-yard line.
New Brighton lined up, and they were clearly crowding the line of scrimmage. They had a guy that was up top to the field going to come off the edge, so they were going to bring pressure and play man, but they got too tight to the line of scrimmage, and so they got called for the penalty. They've got to be smarter about that.
9 Washington and Greene County teams in the playoff brackets tonight, 4 of them in Double-A. I'm sorry, I think it's 11 is my number. Pass play to the left side, trying to run by the coverage, and a ball just overthrown, incomplete, intended for Travis Crutcher. Hughes got a little too much zip and not enough air on that one.
And again, that was locked up man-to-man. They've got the Montanez on Crutcher out there man-to-man, and he was running with him initially, but then Crutcher just blew by him, but Hughes didn't have it put on the money. It looks to me, Bob, like they're going to play man-to-man outside all night and then mix and match how they play their interior safety.
Crutcher to the top of the formation, Griffin to the near side, outside Blanche at the tight end, second down and 10, running play to the left, it's Eddie Lewis. Lewis inside the 40, spins to the 35, spins out of a tackle, 30, and dragged down finally at about the 25-yard line.
Eddie Lewis is a ball of fire, in my opinion. He hits the hole and hits the hole hard. And that time he hit and then just kept working and sliding to the outside and kept it going and ran through tackles, and that's a big lift for Washington. I'm not sure why Levy's out of the ball game, but Eddie Lewis really comes in and gives him a lift.
5'9", 160-pound freshman, Eddie Lewis. First and 10 at the New Brighton 25. Hughes hands to Lewis, running left side, trying to follow Harper. He's tackled forward to about the 22.
Washington came out with twins this time to the field to their right, and then ran Lewis up in over the left side again. Again, just the lead type play. Fullback gets up in there, and Lewis gets in behind him. pick up a couple. The interior of the New Brighton defense looks to be physical enough to go at it. Trent Porter inside, number 77, 295-pound young man. We understand Alex Mittner, also D lineman, is an outstanding player for New Brighton.
Tight end left, slot left, running play trying to come to the right. It's Lewis again, and Lewis is going to be snowed under at the line of scrimmage. And up top there, Deshaun Harmon to finish off the tackle.
Harmon was certainly there, and then there were a few other guys involved as well. They do move to the ball well, and so looks to be no gain. And Washington now in a situation, they've been running the football. Again, I would not be surprised to see Devon Fuse fake running play, isolation fake play, and bootleg to the outside where he can get into a run-pass kind of combination.
3rd and 8 for Washington at the New Brighton 23. Lions lead the Little Prexies 7-0. Toss to the right to Lewis. Hit in the backfield, got off of that, but is taken out of bounds shy of the 20-yard line.
Just toss into the boundary, and all defended by New Brighton.
And it's going to be no gain. So 2 yards on first down and 2 straight 0-yard gains on the 2nd and 3rd. So now Washington facing 4th and 8 at the New Brighton 23. Newcastle 6, Highlands nothing. Thank you, John Sacco. First WPIAL playoff score other than our own into the books tonight. 10 on the play clock. Fuse up under center. Tight end to the right. It's Willis. Fuse sets and throws the ball into the end zone. Traffic there, and the pass is knocked down, intended for Griffin, and it's incomplete. So the ball will go over on down. 6:37 to go in the first. New Brighton takes over 1st and 10 at the 23 when we come right back.
At Huntington, we've been asking ourselves, is there a way to make payday faster? And good news, everyone. Now, if your direct deposit is set up at Huntington, we'll make your paycheck available to you up to 2 days early and with no added cost to you. If you're wondering, why would a bank do that? We get it. But for us, it's about looking out for people. That's how we reinvent banking. Huntington, welcome. Direct deposit and eligibility requirements apply. Learn more at huntington.com/earlypay.
Lions were charged with 33 rushes a week ago for 20 yards against Freedom. They'll take over 1st and 10, and the play blown dead at the snap. And looks like false start against the Lions. Their 2nd penalty, if that's the case. It is false start.
Right tackle popped up too quick for New Brighton. Interestingly, he got it to what looked like a pass set. So I'm not sure what that was about. I think they were going to fake the ball to the running back and run left, but it really doesn't matter, I suppose. So it's 1st and 15.
Beaver Falls 7, Western Beaver nothing. Winner of that game gets the winner of our game. Ball at the 18-yard line, 1st and 15 for New Brighton. Now, slide motion, quarterback run. Hit in the backfield, slipped off of that, trying to get around the corner, and is going to be taken down after a gain of just a couple. Good job there by Levy to get out in front and not allow Pugh to get around the bend.
And he was trying to slide and get to the outside. There's nobody else in the backfield when he took the football, Pugh, that is. Levy came from his free safety spot and came up and made a nice hit, made the play. So Washington now forcing 2nd and very long, and New Brighton not in a great field position, so we'll see how willing they are to be risky.
McGuffey 2, Laurel nothing, halfway through their first quarter. 2nd and 13 for New Brighton. Motion across the set. Pugh takes the shotgun snap and slings it down the middle of the field. Pass is incomplete. Looking over his right shoulder was Keandre Williams. The ball sailed over his left shoulder, and he just couldn't pull it in.
And that's one of the hardest things for any wide receiver to do, and particularly in high school, making that adjustment as you're running down and the ball's coming basically over your head. Tell you what, it was a nicely thrown football, to be honest with you. And if we made the adjustment, that would have been a whale of a catch. It was still fairly well defended as well, but you are right. Pugh just let her go.
3rd down and 13. The Lions at their own 20-yard line send trips to the near side. Few with a hard count and a hand movement there that could, if you could indicate that was too extreme to get away with. Now claps, and the play clock winds to 0 and delay of game. Like the Lions were trying to get free 5 yards. Instead, they give up 5 yards.
Yeah, that was not good form there. Now we're not. What are we doing, Mark?
Well, we're going to get they're going to waive the penalty off and grant New Brighton a timeout. A New Brighton timeout. Lions 7, Little Prexies nothing. Back on WPIAL in just a minute.
Become one of tomorrow's leaders today. Begin your journey with the right education at Washington and Jefferson College. Join us for the W&J Experience Visit Day tomorrow. Learn about the W&J College community as you meet with faculty, students, staff, and coaches. Enjoy campus tours and explore all we have to offer. W&J, your future, founded here. Visit washjeff.edu/visit to register. That's washjeff.edu/visit.
Couple of score updates for you. 2A, number 2, Stowe Rocks leading Shady Side Academy 7-0. Number 7, Beaver in the 4A bracket leading Laurel Highlands 7-0. Laurel Highlands has never won a playoff game. Try to change that tonight. 3rd down and 13, trips to the near side. And Little Prexies looked like they were in press coverage for a minute. Few sets and throws to the right. Pass is too tall, out just across the 30, intended for Blake McKay, and it will bring up 4th down.
Pew throws pretty decent football. I mean, his form's kind of a little bit like a gunslinger look, but nonetheless, he put it out there. It wouldn't have been a first down as he was short of the sticks. But now New Brighton will have to punt, and Washington's going to get the field, get the ball in great field position because it's, I suspect, going to be fielded at least at the 50 or closer.
Keandre Williams to punt. 5:35 to play. First quarter, 7-0 New Brighton. Hughes back to receive. Williams slides to his right, fields the snap. The kick will hit shy of midfield and take a New Brighton bounce, and a big one inside the 45 and roll dead inside the Washington 40-yard line. 5:24 to go in the first. New Brighton 7, Washington nothing. Back on WPIAL in just a moment.
Being a rebel has its perks. I should know. President George Washington here. When you sign up for Rebellion Checking at Washington Financial Bank, enjoy things like higher interest rates, cash back on purchases, refunds on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, and even ATM fees. Learn more and join the rebellion at washfin.bank. That's WASHFIN.bank. Member FDIC.
Little Prexies force a punt from the New Brighton 20, and Keandre Williams gets a 25-yard punt and a 15-yard bounce. 1st and 10. Hughes with a play fake, ran out of a tackle across the line of scrimmage, almost broke another one, gets up over the 45 to the 48-yard line.
Washington came out that time and spread set. 2 receivers each way, one back in the backfield with Hughes. And my suspicion is that they're trying to spread the defense out of New Brighton and give Hughes a chance, because that was clearly a quarterback run, like a quarterback draw action, to get him some space to run the football. And certainly with his athleticism, I'd be thinking that's a good idea.
Picks up 9. The Little Prexies run trips to the near side. 2nd and 1 from the 48. Mohawks 7, Chartiers Houston nothing in the first. Hughes looks to Levy. Line drive bullet pass is caught by Levy, and he's tackled across midfield. Gets a first down, but that one was stuck.
Well, and I'll tell you, if I'm a college coach looking at Deshaun Levy, I'm impressed with the fact that he went down and got that with his hands. That was a great catch on his part. I mean, Hughes put it out there, but Levy makes a nice catch, and they get the first down. That was a play where they were leaking Levy out of the backfield on a kind of a swing route. And boy, I tell you, it was a really spectacular catch.
10th catch of the year for Levy. Chartiers Houston on the board, now trailing 7-6. Washington 1st and 10. Quarterback draw. Levy running left, but not for long, and he doesn't get back to, or rather, Hughes running left, and he didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. We get the Feed the Beast sign from Alex Mittner, and He's one of those key guys in the center of that New Brighton defensive front.
Well, they talk about him, and he must be pretty good because Hughes is a great athlete, and he's not a little guy either, big man. So Hittner brings him down along with a little bit of help there. But, again, it appears that Washington that time with the trips and open the other way, receiver the other way, they're looking for opportunities to spread the defense and give Hughes a chance to run the football. And now Washington's going to have to take a timeout as they have some substitution issues.
New Brighton 7, Washington nothing. 3:23 to go first quarter. Back to Wash High Stadium in just a minute.
If you're hurt or injured in an accident, do you know what to do or what not to do? The first thing you should do is call Attorney Brian Peasy in Washington, 724-228-9000. Insurance company lawyers are working to fight your claim, and Attorney Brian Peasy will be working too, for you. Help is right here in Washington. No need to go to Pittsburgh. Call Attorney Brian Peasy, 724-228-9000. Small town attention, big city results.
Slovenian Savings and Loan was organized in 1925 to help local immigrants who couldn't get loans, and they built strong relationships in the community. Those same traditional values are still at the heart of what Slovenian Savings and Loan does today, while offering the latest services like their new mobile banking app to fit your busy lifestyle, and great rates on checking accounts without all the fine print. Slovenian Savings and Loan on Boone Avenue in Strabane. Learn more at sloveniansavingandloan.com.
Each team has used a timeout. We get a single A score. Bishop Canavan 14, Burgettstown nothing. That game at Big Mac Stadium in Canonsburg. Fox Chapel 7, Upper St. Clair nothing. And our thanks to John Sacco keeping us posted all season long. Washington 2nd and 11 at the New Brighton 48. Levy on the draw, pulled it back out. He's got first down and more. He's got that sideline and going to jog to the house. Touchdown, Devon Fuse. But is there a flag? Everybody coming back this way.
I heard a lot of whistles, partner. So
there is a holding against Washington at the New Brighton 39-yard line.
That's the second time that Washington has attempted to use Hughes' ability. That time, obviously, they did have that ability in full display because they were trips to the right, split in left, and then they ran the fake with the running back to the right toward the trip set, and then Hughes just hit a gap on the left side and was just gone. How much the holding made a difference is I'm not sure, but so far it appears that Washington is going to try to exploit the Hughes' athletic ability.
The ball now at the 50-yard line, so it's 2nd and 13 at midfield. Hughes fakes again and hit just as he stepped through the hole when he goes down at the about the 47. They get about 3 on the carry, but Washington will face 3rd and long.
And again, the fake, some people call it this RPO piece, run-pass option where he faked the ball to Tayshawn Levy going to his left. That time they had receivers 2 each way. But Hughes kept the football and exploded up into the right side. But New Brighton has been there to meet that challenge defensively. Their front 4 guys are stout, and then the other guys run real well to the ball.
3rd down and 10 at the New Brighton 47. Hughes takes the shotgun snap, forced to roll out. And now he will run with it. Jumps over a man. That's going to be hurdling. That's illegal. And Hughes is going to the house for a second time. And this one's coming back. Player that had only their feet on the ground, you cannot leap over. It's hurdling, and it's a personal foul. And this is coming back. Second time from midfield. Devon Hughes has run the distance. And it's coming back.
Yeah, they...
Personal foul, hurdling. Looks great on Sundays and Saturdays, but it is illegal in the high school game. If only one or both feet are on the ground, you cannot jump over.
Well, that met the definition and then some. I know one thing. If I'm the track coach here at Washington, maybe on Hughes' house to run track, that was impressive. You got to be tired by now. He's run like 100 yards in 2 plays and will not get much from it.
They put the ball back to the 47-yard line. The hurdle happened at the 42. I'm not sure that's the right place for the football. And the New Brighton coach is trying to get the referee's attention, but that's where it's going to be. It's going to be 3rd and 10 at the 47. Again, I don't know that that's correct. Pugh's going to take the snap, roll to his left, got to try to make a man miss and cannot. Gets just a yard, and Washington will face 4th down, 2:05 and counting remaining in the first quarter. New Brighton scored on the 2nd play of the game, and that's all that's happened ever since.
Noah Stofan comes up to make the play for New Brighton. Had some help, but I missed the other number. But Hughes has been the primary carrier for Washington, and now they appear that they're going to go for it, although Hughes is in deep position. Now New Brighton looks to be calling a timeout.
1:41 to play in the first. New Brighton 7, Washington nothing. We're back on WJPA in just a minute.
Purchase your seat in the spotlight at the historic Capitol Theater in Wheeling. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to celebrate your family, your business, or the memory of a loved one. The name or organization you choose will be engraved on a plate on the seat of your choice, subject to availability. For nearly 100 years, the Capitol Theater in Wheeling has hosted the world's greatest entertainers. Find out more about your seat in the spotlight online at CapitolTheaterWheeling.com. Wheeling is waiting for you.
This is Scott Day from the Day Insurance Agency. There are lots of ads about car insurance these days, offering you savings of 10, 20, and even 30%. And we often get customers back who have tried some of those offers. At the Day Insurance Agency, you'll find people you know, people you can talk to, and good car insurance rates without all the gimmicks. The Day Insurance Agency on East Maiden Street in Washington, on Main Street in Hickory, or online at dayinsurance.com.
4th down and 8. The Little Prexies go for it. A pass down the middle of the field is incomplete, and the Little Prexies are going to get the ball up on downs at the 45.
I think they really thought there was interference on the play, and again, there may have been. I wasn't paying attention to that detail, but with that being said, the ball's at 45 of New Brighton, so it's not the best place to give the ball up, but it's not the worst either. So we'll see. New Brighton has only made the one big play. We'll see if they can show any kind of continuous offense here.
Yeah, 81 yards on the one play and nothing on anything else. 1st and 10, New Brighton at the Lions' own 45. Trips bunch to the right side. Hugh again with that hard flex of his hands forward toward the center, but the Little Prexies very good job there to hold their spot. Pugh slings it to the right again, and the pass is caught. Montanez steps out of bounds after a gain of just 2. Harper there to make sure he went out of bounds this time.
It looks to me like Washington is counting the boundary as a defender, in that they're not committing as many people to that side into the boundary. And so New Brighton is trying to exploit that. They did earlier with the trips. Now, that wasn't a trip set, but it seems to me that New Brighton is trying to work that to their advantage.
Mohawk 7, Chartreuse Houston 6. That's at the end of the first. Laurel 8, McGuffey 2, first quarter. 2nd down and 8, quarterback draw. Pugh got out of the backfield, but just barely, and Cameron Carter-Green wrapped around the legs, and Eddie Lewis there to help out as well. Gain of to be about a yard only.
They ran trap action that time where they faked the football, and then Hugh just broke up behind the trap. They're coming from right to left. But as you said, a nice play by Cameron Carter-Green as he squeezes the line of scrimmage.
3rd and 7. Again, go to trips to the right. Single wide receiver set to the left. New Brighton from its own 48-yard line. Pugh looks to the near side. Al barks out some instructions. Calls for it, handles the snap, pump fake, and now sets and slings it down the right side. Ball underthrown. Tayshawn Levy intercepts it, almost intercepted out of his hands when he hit the ground. Incomplete.
That was close. Levy did a nice job of staying right underneath that, and then goes up and high points it, and almost came up with a big pick. Nicely done on his part.
Griffin had help over the top. 4th down for New Brighton. Last time they were in a punt situation, Keandre Williams got 41 net out of it on a punt that went about 25 and then took a big bounce across the midfield stripe. This punt will, the line of scrimmage is about where his last punt hit to begin with. He rolls to his right, pressure coming, gets the kick away, hangs a nice kick up in the air. It takes a lateral bounce and will go out at the Washington 29-yard line with 30 seconds to play. The Little Prexies will take over there. 22 yards on this punt and out of bounds.
And I think to New Brighton's benefit, Hughes wasn't able to get a chance to return it. We'll see how New Brighton adjusts. You know, it is clear to me tonight that the Washington game plan is heavy on running Fuse in some fashion. They've run that quarterback draw look, which goes up over the guard. They've run a lead play to the outside where Levy has led Fuse to the outside, and they are again starting in spread formation with 2 receivers each way.
Couple of score updates for you. It's now Laurel 15, McGuffey 2. Fuse looking left, forced out, fumbles the football, and the Lions are right there to recover it. He got jabbed from behind, and Fuse did not realize there was someone there, and he turns the ball over.
Fuse just not taking good care of the football. Trent Porter comes up with the fumble for New Brighton, and now New Brighton in great field position here. Support Little Prexies defense now stands up to the challenge, not wanting to get down by 2 scores.
Turnover gives the Lions the ball at the Washington 24 with 25 seconds to play in the first quarter, and New Brighton already in front, 7-0. The trip receivers come to the near side. Single back beside is Deshaun Harmon, now motion. Montanez across that set. Pugh rolls that way, pulls it down, going to get hit, trying to reverse, got hit, and pulled down shy of the 30-yard line. Defense keeps Pugh pinned in and drops him for a sack of a loss of about 6 as the quarter comes to an end. 7-0 New Brighton after 1. We're back on WJPA in just a moment.
And here are tonight's Pennsylvania lottery numbers. The wild ball is 2. The pick 2, 3-5. The pick 3, 186. The pick 4, 3204. And the pick 5, 31025. Cash 5 numbers 13, 3, 12, 2, and 31. And the match 6 numbers 18, 31, 40, 6, 47, and 28. Lottery numbers brought to you by Slovenian Savings and Loan.
Slovenian Savings and Loan gives you the best of both worlds. When you bank with Slovenian Savings and Loan, you get the most up-to-date conveniences, including their new mobile banking app, so you can bank anywhere, anytime, and checking accounts with great rates without all the fine print. Combine that with traditional values and the ability to build personal customer relationships. It's everything you want from your bank. Slovenian Savings and Loan on Boone Avenue in Strabane. Learn more at sloveniansavings&loan.com.
New Brighton Lions get an 81-yard touchdown pass on the second play of the game and take a 7-0 lead. They hold a 83-49 advantage in total offense in this opening quarter, and Washington has the game's only turnover. That set New Brighton up at the Washington 24, but a sack loss of 6 on the first snap after that has New Brighton back up to the 30-yard line. 2nd down and 6 there for the Lions.
Isaiah Patterson on that last play for Washington, nicely done. So putting New Brighton in a long situation here, and now they're set to go.
2nd down and 16 at the Washington 30. Motion play, now reverse the field, getting the blockers, and inside the 25 down to the original line of scrimmage. The carry by Keandre Williams. Play designed to go left. He took the handoff on the motion, and then realized he couldn't get outside, slammed on the brakes and reversed and picked up 7.
And got to be honest with you, thought that play had no chance when he started to reverse his field, but he did pick up a couple, but Washington recovered pretty well in that situation. And so now third and a long situation, and obviously I think this is 4-down territory.
3rd and 9 for the Lions. Twins to the left, empty backfield for Pugh. He has trips to the right, motions Harmon back toward the set. Pugh sets, going to pull it down, try to run out of there, rolls, and now throws. Has a man coming back to the ball. The catch is going to be ruled good at the 19-yard line, but it will bring up 4th down, 4th and about 5.
That was a tremendous catch. Get his foot down in bounds in that situation. So they do get some positive yards out of it and makes it a much more manageable 4th down situation for New Brighton. Pugh really shows some athletic ability to get beyond the rush of Washington.
Ron Bowles coming back to make the catch. The 19. So now it's 4th down and 5. Again, trips left. Single receiver to the right. Single back is Deshaun Harmon. Pugh gets pressure right away, throws across the middle. It's batted down in the backfield, and the ball will go over on downs. 11:02 to play, first half. New Brighton 7, Washington nothing. Back in just a moment.
First Federal Savings and Loan of Greene County reminds you, don't fall victim to debit card fraud. With the Card Valet mobile app, you'll get real-time alerts when your card is used. Plus, you can review transactions and set spending limits. Download it today from the App Store or Google Play. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, NMLS 458729. First Federal of Greene is hiring now for the Taylorstown office. You can become a full-time customer service rep. Apply in person or online now at firstfederalofgreene.com.
Washington takes over 1st and 10, running play to the right. Levy gave some ground, now trying to get around the corner, up over the 20, 25, and out of bounds, just shy of the 30-yard line. Going to pick up about 7, maybe 8.
That time, Washington lined up in a bunch of trips to the right, to the field, and then handed the ball to Levy going from his left to his right. And he broke to the outside and picked up some nice yardage. Washington's trip receivers did a pretty good job of walking down and on in there to give him the space to run.
End of one quarter, 5A action. North Hills 7, Peters Township nothing. Shenango 6, Carmichael's nothing. Here it is 7-0 New Brighton, early second. Washington, 2nd down and 2 from the 27. Hughes fakes the handoff to Levy, trying to run around the right side. Gets the sideline, pushed out of bounds onto the Washington bench. Going to get a first down at about the 38-yard line.
And again, that's faking to the trip side this time, and then Hughes keeping it. Partner, I don't know that I saw Vaughn Hughes come up out of there. Is he on the field?
Yeah, he's on the sideline there checking on someone else, and it's whoever he ran into over on that sideline. And again, back off this was outside the coaching box or outside the team box, which is where everybody's supposed to be. But 1st and 10, Washington at the 38, 11-yard run for Fuse. That's already 7 rushes for Devon Fuse. Play coming to the near side. Levy spinning around, and he got pushed backwards and got his balance back, but going to settle for just a 2-yard gain.
Deshaun Harmon came up, and Harmon apparently is a pretty strong young guy because he kind of took Levy off his balance. I didn't think he had enough of him to do that. It seemed like he made that firm of contact is what I was trying to say. So a nice play by Harmon forced Levy to try to regain himself, and he only picks up a couple, but Washington's still trying to find some rhythm offensively.
Leechburg 8, California 7. That's in the single A bracket. 2nd down and 8 for Washington at the 40. Fuse just takes the snap, tucks it on the right hip, trying to get around the right side and does. 45, 50, lowers the shoulders and drives across midfield to pick up another first down.
And again, that time, Trips was to the left. Levy led to the right, and Fuse followed him to the outside. And that explosive quality that we've seen from Fuse was very much in evidence once again. And Hughes is one to be contended with. If they don't have penalties on the last drive, Hughes had 2 touchdowns. So hopefully they'll cure that penalty problem here on this drive.
Sarah Catholic leading Neshannock in the 2A bracket. That's 20-0. Here it's New Brighton, 7-0 up on Washington. At the Lions' 47-yard line, first and 10. Hughes pass to the right. It's caught and inside the 30 and down at about the 26-yard line. That ball just snared by Crutcher.
Crutcher makes a nice catch. It's just tight post cut. And I will tell you, it was good coverage by the secondary. Blake McKay from New Brighton was on his outside hip, but Hughes puts a nice ball in there on him on a rope, and Crutcher makes the catch. Now Washington moving, using this trips bunch formation, split in the other way, and has got some rhythm out of it to move down the field.
21-yard pickup, first and 10 at the New Brighton 26. Snap goes through, Hughes' hands up by his ear, goes back, picks it up on the bounce, trying to spin out of backfield traffic, and he's going to go down and take a couple of extra pops there, trying to spin out of traffic, but just didn't catch the snap that went right by his left ear.
That was almost beyond disastrous, but the Prexies recover the football there, so it'll be second and about 20, I imagine, partner. But
loss of 8 to the 34, so close enough. Second and 18. 8 minutes to play first half. New Brighton scored on the second play of the game, an 81-yard touchdown pass. Little Prexies now with 6 first downs, but have not really threatened except for the 2 plays that Hughes ran for touchdowns who were brought back on penalties. Little Prexies going to get away with this too many men in motion, but not going to benefit. Running play to the right side, handled by Xavier Willis, but had a man in motion and had a man move up and get set at the line of scrimmage and got away with it.
Which is something we see often. But nice job by New Brighton to defend. Came up to force the ball to the outside and makes the tackle. So now third and quite a bit here. And again, very likely 4-down territory for Washington, so not a big deal, but my suspicion, again, is we're going to see Devon Hughes with some chance to get to run the football in space.
2 receivers each way. Hughes with a single back beside him. Hughes spins away from backfield pressure, trying to direct people deep, and now he's just going to try to run and gets inside the 30-yard line down to the 29. Gain of 5 of the 8 lost earlier.
They had great pressure coming on Fuse that time from the outside. Fuse just made a move and then got to the outside, but they recovered enough that that's the kind of play that we've seen Devon Fuse make into something bigger than that. And so New Brighton's got to be happy about that in that respect. But now 4th and, what we would consider long yardage in terms of tendency, this is problematic, and I tend to think that we're going to get a Washington timeout here, partner.
It's going to be 4th and 13 at the New Brighton 29-yard line. Washington will indeed use its second timeout. 5:59 to play first half. We're back on WJPA in just a minute.
Orthodontics isn't just for children. Orthodontics is for everyone. Choose Good Orthodontics. Doctors Bob and Ron Good, board-certified specialists in orthodontics and facial orthopedics. Call for an appointment, 724-225-1114. Good Orthodontics, with offices in Washington, Mount Lebanon, and in Pleasant Hills. See all the good a simple smile can do. Call Good Orthodontics, 724-225-1114. Excellence is a good choice. Choose Good Orthodontics.
At Huntington, we've been asking ourselves, is it possible to lend money at 0 interest? And it totally is. Introducing Standby Cash. When you need extra cash, you can qualify for between $100 and $1,000 at Huntington. And it's free when you auto pay us back across 3 months. Why would a bank do that? Just to look out for people. That's how we reinvent banking. Huntington, welcome. Without automatic payments, 12% APR. Eligibility requirements apply. Amount available is based on customer eligibility. Learn more at huntington.com/standbycash.
Washington facing 4th down and 13. We saw it a week ago, just simply going for it on 4th down, and Little Prexies line up to do that again. Ball at the New Brighton 29-yard line. Hughes getting pressure immediately. Stepped away from one guy, rolls to his right, and going to try to run for it. He's got the 20, he's got the first down to the 10, and Devon Hughes takes this one to the house. Are there flags? He's done this twice before, and both times there were penalty flags. There are none. The Little Prexies within a PAT of tying the ball game.
That time New Brighton, which they had him early. They brought pressure from the outside, and they got a hand on him. He broke free of that, and then that's what we've seen from Devon Hughes. Just broke up, and then to his right, and then he took it downhill skier. He just really does a great job of weaving in and out, and he scores for Washington.
29-yard touchdown, his 14th touchdown of the year. Blanchett for the PAT and the tie. The kick up and good. 5:48 to play, second quarter. Washington 7, New Brighton 7. Back on WJPA in just a minute.
Become one of tomorrow's leaders today. Begin your journey with the right education at Washington and Jefferson College. Join us for the W&J Experience Visit Day tomorrow. Learn about the W&J College community as you meet with faculty, students, staff, and coaches. Enjoy campus tours and explore all we have to offer. W&J, your future, founded here. Visit washjeff.edu/visit to register. That's washjeff.edu/visit.
Hello, President George Washington here. Have you heard the news? The amazing checking rewards program at Washington Financial Bank is now called Rebellion Checking, a program that benefits you, the customer. New name, same perks, like refunds on ATM fees and cash back on purchases. Learn more and join the rebellion at washfin.bank. That's WASHFIN.bank. Member FDIC.
Washington gets a touchdown to tie the game. Churches Houston with another touchdown. They're now to within 17-12. Kickoff by the Little Prexies, taken at the 11-yard line. Return coming this way. It's Montanez giving ground, hit up high, and stopped shy of the 20. Ball may have come loose. Little Prexies say they have it. Let's see what the officials say, and they do. Washington takes it away on the kick return by Montanez, and he may be shaken up. Washington's going to get the football. Score from Carmichael's. It's Shenango 12, Carmichael's nothing. Washington takes over at the New Brighton 17-yard line. A little earlier, Washington's defense held after a Fuse fumble deep in his own territory. But now the pressure is on New Brighton to do the same. Ball at the New Brighton 17. Tie ball game. Levy beside Fuse. Take the handoff. Little shuffle pass ahead to Griffin. The ball knocked loose, and the official on the wing going to say the ball was never caught. Referee saying it's New Brighton football. The wing official far side was immediately signaling incomplete pass.
Which is the correct call.
And that is now that we are going to get to that call, the referee indicating, first of all, that it was a fumble, but has been ruled an incomplete pass.
That's the reason you do that anymore. Is it's if you pitch it forward like that and hits the ground, it's an incomplete pass. It's not a fumble.
Back in the playground days, that's a forward lateral. That wasn't even a legal play, but if you did do it, then it's a fumble. It was back in the day. You remember those days, partner?
I didn't play football on the playground.
Second down and 10. Fuse rolls right, sets and throws, lost it for the end zone. Crutcher cannot make the catch. Ball knocked out of his hands, incomplete. Keandre Williams there to make sure it wasn't caught.
And Keandre Williams was the key there because Fuse put the ball out there where Crutcher could get his hands on it, but often you don't see high school guys doing what you see those college and pro guys where they see the ball through the hands of the receiver and drive their hand through there and knock it loose. But Williams did a nice job that time with pressure. That has been a little Prexy touchdown.
Well, a shovel pass and now a deep ball. 3rd down and 10. Washington obviously in 4-down territory here, as we saw they were at 4-down territory in the middle of the field. Come to the line of scrimmage and going to run out of time. The play clock winding down, and the Little Prexies will use their 3rd timeout of the half. 5:27 to go, 2nd quarter. Washington 7, New Brighton 7. Back on WJPA in just a minute.
If you're hurt or injured in an accident, do you know what to do or what not to do? The first thing you should do is call Attorney Brian Peasy in Washington, 724-228-9000. Insurance company lawyers are working to fight your claim, and Attorney Brian Peasy will be working too, for you. Help is right here in Washington. No need to go to Pittsburgh. Call Attorney Brian Peasy, 724-228-9000. Small town attention, big city results.
Slovenian Savings and Loan was organized in 1925 to help local immigrants who couldn't get loans, and they built strong relationships in the community. Those same traditional values are still at the heart of what Slovenian Savings and Loan does today, while offering the latest services like their new mobile banking app to fit your busy lifestyle, and great rates on checking accounts without all the fine print. Slovenian Savings and Loan on Boone Avenue in Strabane. Learn more at sloveniansavingandloan.com.
Washington has no timeouts left. New Brighton has 1. 3rd down and 10. Little Prexies at the New Brighton 17-yard line, right where they recovered the Montanez fumble on the kickoff. Levy beside Fuse. Stays home, passes across the middle and tipped away. If the ball gets past that the defender, it probably is a touchdown. Trayvon Phillips, though, got a handout to knock it down.
Nicely done by Trayvon Phillips, but as you said, Bob, that would have been probably a touch. But Phillips did a nice job of reacting to that and making the play. So now Washington, 4th down, and have to believe that they're going to keep the ball in Devon Fuse's hands at this point.
Already 1 4th down conversion on this possession. Well, I'm sorry, that was on the touchdown possession. It just seems like it was on this possession because it's all stayed right there. 4th and 10 at the New Brighton 17. The Lions defense trying to make a stand. Fuse with Levy beside. Quarterback draw. Fuse rolls, slides right, hit from behind, and going to go down. And the ball will go over on downs. The New Brighton Lions do exactly what Washington did in a very similar circumstance earlier. Hold and pick up a teammate who put the ball on the ground.
Well, that was well done defensively. They brought pressure. One thing that New Brighton seems very clear about is that in those situations, they're just not going to let Devon Fuse have his choice of how he's going to attack. So they brought outside pressure and forced Fuse to make a decision. And then that time they were able to get control of him, unlike the touchdown a little bit ago here in the 2nd quarter.
7-7 tie. New Brighton takes over at its own 17-yard line. Few calls for the snap, hands the ball off. Running play coming up the middle forward for a couple, maybe 4 yards actually. Just getting across the 20-yard line out to the 21 is Deshaun Harmon.
They're just a single back in the backfield, and Hugh puts the ball in Harmon's hands, and he gets, about 3 or 4, as you said, their partner, and got a nice push by the offensive line.
Just enough running to keep Washington honest, and now they snap it to Keandre Williams with 2 blockers right with him, and he's going to get back to the line of scrimmage and nothing more.
I guess you probably call that like the wildcat that they talk about now, where the running back gets a direct snap, and it was there were 2 backs over there with Williams, and they led to the outside, and Washington did a really nice job of coming up and squeezing that and making the play.
Gary Pugh back into the game at the quarterback spot. 3rd down and 6 for the Lions at their own 21-yard line. Pugh has a single back beside him. And again, he barks hard and flips both hands toward the ground. Nobody moves on the defensive front. Now the snap pass quickly to the left side. It's overthrown and intercepted. It's Harper inside the 25, the 20, and Harper with the pick is taken down at about the 17. Back-to-back New Brighton turnovers. The Little Prexies with the ball again in great field position.
They brought Fuse off the edge in that situation. And I got to tell you, that would be a little alarming if I was the other team's quarterback, seeing Devon Fuse come off the edge like that. And then Harper just makes a very athletic play with the interception, and now I believe we've got another timeout partner. Here that is the case.
Break in the action, 3:54 to play. We'll keep it here. The interception thrown by Pugh, who didn't start at the quarterback until mid-season. That's his 9th interception thrown this year.
Took an athletic play that is very candid by Harper to come forward. I mean, that was a nice catch on the interception. Often you'll see guys be in the right place but not finish it by making the catch. Harper made a nice catch out of that, and that comes up with Washington. So now Washington back in business with a chance to get the go-ahead touchdown.
Laurel rolling. McGuffey now 27-2. McGuffey scored first, but Laurel has scored the most. And that's always the item that counts. Woodland Hills 13, Bethel Park 10 in that 5A bracket. Shenango 12, Carmichael 7 as the Mighty Mikes get on the board. Thank you, John Sacco. Appreciate all of your hard work. Cornell leading Monessen 13-0. That's the 2:15 matchup. Laurel Highlands and Beaver now tied at 14. Beaver scored the first 14. Laurel Highlands high backfield. Ball's on the ground. Ball covered by the Washington running back, I think. I think the center snapped the ball and nobody else went, and went through Fuse's hands. And I think it was Levy covering the football.
Eddie Lewis is in the ball game.
It may have been Lewis covering it. My apologies.
They were unbalanced that time, I believe, so we'll see if they come out that way again.
That's the third or fourth time Washington's had the ball on the ground tonight. 7-7 tie, 3:15 to go, first half. Fuse, handoff to Harper, jump cut to his right, getting spun around and taken down backwards. Good job there by Trent Porter to get a hold of Carlos Harper and would not let him get free. First carry for the Washington fullback.
And they ran just the inside trap that they've run in the past and had a lot of success with, very honestly. But as you said, Porter, pretty big guy there for Brighton, comes in and gets a hold of Harper, and often he's hard to bring down. But Porter was up to the challenge.
Rochester leading Mapletown 21-0. That's at the half. Little Prexies facing third down and 11. Did not take advantage of the first New Brighton turnover, and now a long third down here. Toss. Levy sticks a foot in the ground, and the Lions snow him under short of the line of scrimmage.
That time they went unbalanced in that they had twins to the left, and they brought tight end on the same side. So they were unbalanced to the left, and they just tossed the football. New Brighton did a great job of coming off the edge to set the edge, and then inside, Mittner comes from his down line position, and they finish off the play. And so New Brighton has been up to the challenge defensively tonight. They are not backing off an inch.
Fourth down at the 19, 4th and 12. The Lions looking to make this stand again. Fuse in some trouble. Rolls, jump pass toward the end zone, trying to get back to the ball is Crutcher. And it is either intercepted or incomplete. Regardless, New Brighton's going to take over on downs. For the second time, it is incomplete. Looking to get the ball to Crutcher and broken up. And back was Blake McKay.
And New Brighton has consistently decided to force the issue. That time they brought a man off the edge, and I didn't get a number, but he came and blitzed off the outside edge and forced the football to be thrown, I think, a little sooner than they would have liked. And so Brighton comes up with it. And now, minute 30 to go in the second quarter. This could go in tied.
Washington on the first takeaway took over at the New Brighton 17. That's where they gave the ball up. The Harper interception, Washington took over at the 17. They give it up at the 19. Pull back. And stood up from the 19 forward to about the 20, and they carry forward for maybe a yard for Deshaun Harmon.
They had a full house kind of backfield. I don't know if it was Power High or sometime like an inverted wishbone. They had two tight ends as well. They've not shown that tonight so far. Washington adjusted quickly, so they've seen it on film, it looks to me like. And so this must be something else that New Brighton does, but it certainly seems to me that New Brighton is more than happy to take it to the locker room tied.
Well, survive 2 turnovers deep in your own end. You give up the touchdown play on a long 4th down scramble, and then you fumble the kickoff, and then you get the ball next and you throw an interception, and the Lions have survived that. Carry forward to about the 24-yard line. Again, it's Harmon, and that could be the final play of the half. Harmon pick up 3 on this run.
They were in that power high looking backfield and just gave the ball straight ahead dive to Harmon. And it seems to me that that's going to be the final play of the first half.
The Lions will walk it off. New Brighton 7, Washington 7 at the end of the first half. We're back on WJPA in just a moment.
There's holiday fun waiting for you in Wheeling. Get tickets now for a Motown Christmas, Friday, December 3rd, with special guests, the Marvelettes. And Sunday, December 19th, don't miss Christmas in the Valley with the Ron Retzer Trio and the 1170 Band. Proceeds benefit the Augusta Levy Center, a nonprofit autism treatment center in Wheeling. Both events at Wheeling's Capitol Theater. Tickets online at capitoltheaterwheeling.com. For holiday fun, Wheeling is waiting for you.
If you drive a vehicle or own property, you need insurance. This is Scott Day from the Day Insurance Agency. If you're in South Fayette, West Allegheny, or the airport area, Hickory, Burgettstown, or Washington, we're not far from you, and we'll help make sure you're covered, which is why you have insurance to begin with. The Day Insurance Agency on East Maiden Street in Washington, on Main Street in Hickory, or online at dayinsurance.com.
Washington won the coin toss and deferred to the second half. New Brighton got the ball 2 snaps into the game. New Brighton had a 7-0 lead. They haven't had a first down since that TD pass. They've turned the ball over twice, and normally in a playoff situation, that's recipes for disaster because both turnovers were shy of their own 20-yard line, and Washington got nothing. -2 yards net total offense out of those 2 possessions following the New Brighton turnovers. Washington did get the touchdown right ahead of the kickoff fumble and tied the ball game. The Fuse run on 4th down and the kick by Blanchett tied the game. But Washington has had time of possession. They've had 7 first downs. New Brighton has 1, but the scoreboard says 7-7 at the half in this first-round playoff.
It just seems to be that they just can't seem to get a sense of rhythm. And, if you listen to Lou Holtz talk about that a long time ago, and he said offensive football is really about rhythm, and if you can keep the team out of their rhythm, that's a good thing. And so Washington's been trying to decide, are they going to be a trips open team? Are they going to be an I team? Are they, it just seems to me Fuse has been the focus of their attention this week. And he's done some great things. Of course, the penalties hurt him on the touchdowns they had called back. But just kind of the second half, I suspect you'll see a little more of a kind of a rhythm kind of approach, and perhaps that'll put Washington in better stead.
65 yards on 13 carries for Devon Fuse, including the 29-yard scramble on 4th and long for the only Washington touchdown. He's hit just 2 of 9 passes for 26 yards. On the other side, 11 yards is the leading ground attack for Deshaun Harmon, 4 carries for 11. Pugh has hit 3 of 8 passes for 87 yards, and the Lions' only touchdown. That pass caught behind the line of scrimmage and taken to the house by Eric Montanez on that three-receiver trips bunch to the right and the wide receiver screen, and Montanez took it to the house. So 3 of 8 for 87 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Turnovers, New Brighton 2, Washington 1, and nobody has any points off the turnovers. 7-7 tie at the half. A news update with Lynn Manning, and then Don Rebel and Chris Harlan for our regular Trib halftime feature. That's all coming your way next here on WJPA.
Good evening. I'm Lynn Manning with your WJPA halftime report. We're at 44 degrees right now here in Washington. It's going to be a cold night tonight as temperatures dip down to about 27, but we'll rebound for a spectacular fall weekend. Take a look at that forecast coming up. A Charleroi mother has been accused of hiding her baby's body in a wall of her home. Washington County District Attorney Jason Walsh tells us 25-year-old Kylie Wilt is facing multiple charges after admitting to what she did.
They were notified by COIS, who was trying to locate an infant that they had been unable to locate for some time, and that the mother was not giving them viable explanation as to the infant's whereabouts.
Walsh says the father, 27-year-old Alan Hollis, is also facing charges. He says the police were called in to 710 Lookout Avenue after CYS could not find the 1-year-old baby boy. Wilt eventually admitted the baby had died in February, but she had been concealing his death. His remains were found in a crate inside of a wall in the house. Authorities are trying to determine exactly how he died. Now, both Hollis and Wilt are in jail. Hollis is in the SCI Green facility in Waynesburg, and Wilt is being held in the Washington County Jail. Washington City Council previewed their 2022 city budget at their meeting last night. It brought good news for residents. Councilman and fiscal director for the city, Joe Manning, says there will be no tax increase, but they will keep an eye on revenues throughout the next year.
No, actually, we haven't seen revenues lag as much as we anticipated because of the pandemic. Now, 2022 may be a different scenario, but as of for right now, we're actually able to balance the budget fairly easily. And as I said, all we have are contractual employee obligations that we have to meet. There will be no tax increase.
The $14.9 million spending plan calls for an increase of $200,000 over last year. Because of those obligations, Council will vote on the budget at their meeting in December. And the Washington School District is looking for a new superintendent. Their current superintendent, Dr. James Conrad, has accepted the superintendent's position in the Pleasant Valley School District in eastern Pennsylvania. Pleasant Valley School Board Director Donna Yazwiak tells WJPA they're extremely happy to have him on board.
In addition to being articulate, charismatic, and very well educated, he seems to be a great fit for the Pleasant Valley School District. He comes to us with a master's degree in education, an MBA that you rarely see as a credential for a superintendent, and a doctorate.
Yazwiak says there are still some details to work out, but they expect him to start in early January under a 5-year contract at $170,000 a year. Funeral services were held today for former Secretary of State Colin Powell at the Washington National Cathedral. ABC's Faith Abube was there.
The private ceremony drew hundreds, including President Biden, former President Obama, and Bush, as well as military officials. Inside, family and friends remembered the 4-star general as a loving father, a humble friend, and a warrior statesman.
Our parents taught us right. They taught us wrong. And they taught us to take responsibility for our actions and never to blame others.
The son of Jamaican immigrants, Powell lived the American dream, becoming the first black Secretary of State, first black chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and the first black national security advisor to Ronald Reagan. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
Well, this year, when you're sitting around the Thanksgiving dinner table and you're asked what you're thankful for, you can proudly say ghrelin and take that last bite of pie that you're being offered. Ghrelin's an appetite-producing hormone. Experts say that's what gets activated when you're stuffed beyond belief, thanks to all the turkey and the stuffing and the trimmings that you just wolfed down. But suddenly, there's pumpkin pie or some other dessert, and your brain says, of course, I'm not that stuffed. Bring it on. And you actually have room to eat the dessert. On Wall Street tonight, the Dow closing up 203 points. The S&P was up 17, and the Nasdaq was up just over half a point. In sports, the Pens have tonight off. They'll be home tomorrow when they host Minnesota. Steelers off this weekend. They play Monday night. They play host to Chicago at Heinz Field. And college football tomorrow, W&J traveling to Carnegie Mellon. We've got the game on 1450 a.m. Our coverage beginning at 12:30. Your forecast tonight, clear, cold, a low of 27. And then tomorrow, sunshine through Monday, warmer temperatures with highs in the mid to upper 50s, maybe even the low 60s by Monday. Right now, 45 at WJPA.
WPIAL halftime show sponsored by SC Tire, Export Tire on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Week 1 of the WPIAL playoffs. We welcome you to our exclusive coverage. Hope you're enjoying the first half of the game you're watching or listening to. Export Tire, they work hard to earn your business. They have your size tire in stock installed today. All the best brands at the best tire prices. Shop for tires online. Check out their Google reviews. We welcome in Dr. Harlan. He's got a whole folder. They still use manila folders? Is that what they use? Manila folder full of grades to hand out here. It's the final grades from the 2021 season. Mr. Harlan, how are you?
Good. It's time to dig into the grade book and see who did well this year.
Well, you have the information handy. You are ready to. I know a lot of students are a little worried. They're filled with trepidation.
This was a good year.
Ease the burden of those students.
Let's start with history class, because there's a couple of schools here, a couple of teams that did pretty good in this. An A for Leechburg. Let's start out with them. Qualified for the WPIAL playoffs for the first time since 1988. Ended a 31-year drought of not making the playoffs. Big year for them to get in the playoffs. One of the stories of the year, I think, for a program like that. An A for them in history. Another A in history for Laurel, a team that had a great season, undefeated season, first since 1977. For Coach Brian Cooper, running back Luke McCoy, really came out and was up among the leading rushers this year. So an A for Laurel in history, because quite a season the Spartans have had.
Well, you always give those good grades to those Lawrence County schools, don't you, there, Dr. Harlan?
That is my homeland up there.
Okay.
How about North Catholic? I'm going to give an A in algebra to North Catholic, because you got, some people are just good with numbers. You look at this North Catholic team, they've had a favorite number this year. It's 0. They've really been a fan of 0 this year. 5 times that defense has shut people out. 0 also the number of games they've lost this season for the Allegheny 7 champions. So very defensive-minded as they head into the playoffs. An A in algebra for North Catholic. How about another one here? It's only a B. Not everybody gets an A. Here's a B for Beaver for creative writing, because I don't know if any team in the WPIAL has had a more creative season. Definitely no team with more drama than what Beaver has had this year. Twice they won in overtime. 2 other wins by less than a touchdown. The only thing they couldn't write was something a lot of teams haven't been able to do, is a win over Aliquippa. Mm-hmm. But he's been able to quite fit that into their script this year. But otherwise, quite a drama-filled year for Beaver. So let's give them a B in creative writing.
We got some more grades. The good doctor is getting on a roll, and he will hand them out when the halftime show continues on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Need new tires in a hurry? SC Tire has your size tire in stock. Install today. Before you hit the open road, see the tire experts at SC Tire. We do tires, and we do them right. Before you hit the open road, see the tire experts at Export Tire. We do tires, and we do them right. If it has wheels, we have the tires. Export Tire, your commercial tire headquarters.
We thank SE Tire, Export Tire. They help us get to school, and school is what we're talking about. Grades, final grades from 2021. Dr. Harlan, continue on.
Chemistry class. We got a couple teams here in chemistry getting A's. Mount Lebanon and Moon. I'm going to give both of them an A in chemistry because I think they've both shown what having a senior class can do. You know, that chemistry of having been together for 3 years. You look at both of these teams, you know, both undefeated, both number one seeds in the playoffs, and a lot of it has to do with that senior class. I mean, you look at Mount Lebanon, they've got a senior quarterback, running back, wide receiver tandem that's been good all year. Moon has a big running back as a senior and an offensive line that's all senior. So Bob Palco and Ryan Lynn, the two coaches, there's no doubt they appreciate that chemistry that it takes to build a team up to be a pro contender like they both did this year. So A's to Mount Lebanon and Moon, both for chemistry this year. I'm going to get an A in shop class. That was always one of my favorite back in school. Shop class, you build a footstool or you metal shop, you make a box. I'm giving an A to Steel Valley because of what Ray Brazo's done over the last few years. And he's had an interesting coaching career. It's taken him from Steel Valley to West Mifflin, back to Steel Valley. You know, he's been back there at Steel Valley now 3 years back at his alma mater. And he's really turned them into a program here again, you know, into a contender. He's had a couple tough years. Last year, they only won one game. And yet here they are in his third season, number one seed in the WPIAL playoffs, and look like a contender again. Undefeated season and conference champion. They have the leading rusher in the backfield. That always helps too. But an A in shop for Steel Valley. I'm going to give an A in music to Jeanette. Jeanette. Yeah, they didn't have a great year. It wasn't always beautiful. It didn't always sound the way they wanted it to. And yeah, they did have to borrow a few members of the band to make their football team go. But I want to give them credit for what they did. I mean, they were in a tough spot, short on numbers. Coach Roy Hall in his last season, they made it on the field every week. I mean, they got out there every week, no forfeits. In this era where teams are forfeiting all the time, Jeanette stuck it out. They played them all the games, and they got one win. But kudos to Roy Hall as he leaves as coach and to the effort they put out this year just to get on the field every week. And the conference, that Eastern Conference, which isn't easy. I mean, they're playing good teams every week, so credit to them for what they did this year. And lastly, art class. We're going to give A's to Aliquippa and Thomas Jefferson because sometimes, you know, it goes beyond football. These guys have made it almost an art in terms of qualifying for the playoffs and putting together good seasons. I mean, consider 27 years in a row now, Aliquippa and Thomas Jefferson have each qualified for the playoffs. 27 in a row. That's incredible for two teams that consistent that you just don't miss. These are two teams that were in the championship game last year playing against each other. So it's not like they just barely sneak in every year. These are teams under, you know, this year under Coach Mike Warfield and Bill Chirpak, they're contenders. I mean, they're coming in every year. They're trying to win titles. Another add-on to that, because Aliquippa now has made the playoffs 40 times in the last 42 years. They only missed twice in that 42-year span, once in 86, once in 94. But to me, that's an art now. I mean, they know how to get to the playoffs. Sure. So an A in art to Aliquippa and Thomas Jefferson as they make another run in the postseason.
A very positive report card. All good grades.
It was good grades this year. It was a good season.
Yeah.
All good students, all good successes.
I totally agree. You know, there were still some question marks coming into this season. And, yeah, you mentioned some schools that, you know, couldn't suit up on Fridays with a handful of forfeits that, again, is something that the league needs to watch. But all things considered, I agree. I think it was a very strong 2021 regular season. We hope this is the start of a strong 2021 postseason. We'll have it all the way right here on HSSN. Dr. Harlan, salute.
Thank you.
Thanks to Dr. Harlan for not letting us die on the table. Also to producer Chris Lackner. Enjoy the second half, and don't forget afterward the scoreboard show coming up. The halftime show sponsored by SC Tire and Export Tire. SC Tire, Route 51, Belle Vernon, Export Tire on Old William Penn Highway in Export. They work hard to earn your business, as do we. For Chris Harlan, I'm Don Rebel. Enjoy the second half here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Over the shoulder grab, Cameron O'Brien, touchdown, 94 yards.
W&J plays another must-win game this week when the 22nd-ranked Presidents travel to take on Carnegie Mellon. Hear W&J football on 1450 AM WJPA and online at WJPA.com. Coverage starts with Presidents football preview at 12:30. W&J football on 1450 AM WJPA. Brought to you by Account Master and Money Concepts, Bukar Group, Slovenian Savings and Loan, and visit WheelingWV.com. Washington Community Theater presents Into the Woods, a musical story of a childless baker and his wife, their quest to start a family, a witch, and their interaction with well-known storybook characters. Performances are this week and next week, Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. and Sunday afternoon at 3 at 19 North in downtown Washington. See Into the Woods. Tickets $15, students and seniors $12. See the full show schedule and get tickets now at WashingtonCommunityTheater.org.
Welcome back to Wash High Stadium. Bob Gregg, George Lammy here at the half, and we may have the closest game in the 2A bracket. Some other scores: Steel Valley 42, Best Center nothing at the half. Ligonier Valley back in the WPIAL, trailing at number 8, Southside 21-0. Winner of our game gets the winner of the 5-12 matchup, and it's all number 5 right now. Beaver Falls 27, Western Beaver nothing. Stowe Rocks up on Shady Side Academy, 15-0 at last word. Mohawk 21, Churches Houston 12 at the half. Laurel 27, McGuffey 2 at the half. And Sarah Catholic leading Neshannock 34-7. Other scores, 20-6, I believe, 28-6. Last word ahead on North Allegheny and Canna McMillan, number 4 Tigers, won by about that same score a couple of weeks back, and leading Canamac 28-6 at the moment. Woodland Hills 20, Bethel Park 10 as we move over to 5A. North Hills and Peters Township tied 14-14. Fox Chapel 7, Upper St. Clair 3 at the half. In 4A, Newcastle 12, Highlands 7, Laurel Highlands and Beaver 14 all, Hampton and Plum 7-7. Last word, Thomas Jefferson up on Indiana 21-0. In the 3A bracket, the early scores, all we have East Allegheny up on Southmoreland 17-0, Mount Pleasant 14, Burrow 7. Gave you the 2A rundown. And in single A, number 1 Clairton with a bye. Cornell leading Monessen 13-0 at West Allegheny last update we had there. Leechburg 8, California 7. Bishop Canavan early on Burgettstown 14-0. Shenango 18, Carmichael 7. Rochester blanking Mapletown 29-0. That game at Freedom High School. And Springdale early touchdown against West Green. Last word we had there, 7-0 in favor of Springdale Dynamos. And end of one quarter, Greensburg Central Catholic, Our Lady of the Sacred Heart were scoreless after one. We're at 7-7, a ball game that Washington could be up by several scores. They had 2 touchdown runs called back on penalties, one on a hold that may or may not have had anything to do with the run going to the house, the other one on a hurdle, which clearly had something to do with the run going to the house. Not to say that Devon Hughes might not have gotten there anyway, but he went feet first over a defender who had only his feet on the ground. And that is the definition of hurdling. And that is illegal in high school football. It is a personal foul. Was not adjudicated properly, but Washington ended up giving the ball up anyway, and it turned out not to matter. But just a couple of little hiccups. I had a chance to talk with the officials observer, and pretty satisfied all the way around. That mark-off error, only one of only a very limited number of questions. We did have the one on the illegal shift, but you know, you see that all the time, and it's like you're not allowed to have 2 guys moving.
Right.
Without
Absolutely.
resetting everybody.
Right. Well, it's interesting. I'm looking at the warm-ups here. Gary Pugh's over here on the sideline, and his teammates are. I think I see what he's trying to get to. He's trying to get. I thought it was to get the whole team over. I think he had someone to come over and throw with him, and maybe even the offensive center to get the ball with him.
Come here, let me throw.
Yeah, you got to snap it to me so we can get this worked out.
You all are going to run. I want to throw.
Yeah,
and he throws a nice football.
He does. He really does.
Got receivers that can get down the field and get after it, but the Washington defense on the deep balls has done well. The score for New Brighton was that the defense didn't do the job at the line of scrimmage.
Well, and that's not, that they've played good defense here. They really have. I mean, can't complain about that. I mean, I'm sure that the New Brighton coaches are more than happy with their defensive effort to date. So, it'll be interesting to me, Bob, is to see what Washington's approach is offensively coming out of the half here. They get the football. As I noted probably too many times in the first half, they've wanted to get the ball in Fuse's hands running the ball either inside off of a fake or just with a lead action to the outside. But and then he's been successful a bunch of times with it. But there just hasn't been that continuity of using that threat with some other things combined to give a real cohesive offensive attack. So I'm sure they've had some conversations at halftime, and we'll see what they come up with.
Both teams' sudden change defense to be commended. Washington fumbled the ball away deep in its own end, and the defense made a stand. New Brighton, after Washington scored the touchdown to tie the game, New Brighton fumbled the kickoff, and the New Brighton defense held. And then the interception, the pick by Carlos Harper, and the defense not only held but pushed Washington back a couple of yards. The two takeaways by the Little Prexies, net offense is -2 on the two possessions that followed. That's 8 snaps, a net of -2 yards.
And that was, frankly, a little surprising in a lot of ways. But, I hate to go back to this, but I think I'm going to for just a minute in that I still think that, Washington is at a deficit from this perspective. They've only played a couple of competitive games since the end of September.
Since the start of the season, George.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a sad state of affairs. But we're underway here as the kick goes off.
Kickoff taken back at the 11-yard line by Fuse, right up the middle of the field, up across the 30, the 35, and tackled just shy of the midfield stripe. Fuse let that kick hit the ground in front of him, and he got a good hop. It came right to him, but man, you don't want that ball hitting the ground.
Deontay Moore and Zach Wobben make the play for New Brighton because when Fuse did get his hands on the ball, he accelerated. Has that kind of slashing acceleration that you see with really good athletes. But Brighton was able to not give him major yards. And so
no rhythm in the first half offensively for Washington. Got to try to find some kind of rhythm.
That's going to be the key. Start out Twins eye, excuse me.
Two receivers to the near side, running play. Coming over the left, and Tayshawn Levy to midfield, and he's going to step out of bounds with a first down carry.
Twins to the boundary side, left. They run, fullback goes right, little subtle fake, give the ball to Levy, coming back to the left with counter action, and a nice first down play. And that's the kind of play that you can build off of. Now Eddie Lewis comes into the ball game. Levy leaves the football game, and we'll see what that means.
I don't know. Somebody's got some kind of foot banging thing going on. Either that or they're rebuilding something right around us. I thought it was upstairs, but it wasn't. It was in front of us, I think. Yep, it's definitely in front of us. First and 10 at the New Brighton 49-yard line. Hand off to Harper, right side, got across the line of scrimmage, and then stopped as he crossed inside the 45, going to get about 6.
They looked like they cheat schemed it, but they pulled a guard to the outside. Harper hit the hole nicely, and he does that out of the fullback slot for Washington. Hits it and bounces just a little bit. The other thing I will tell you, and I didn't get a number, but boy, the defender met Harper just to chest, put him on the ground, which is unusual as well because Harper is an impressive physical specimen.
Second down and 4 at the 43. Lewis bobbles the handoff, and the Little Prexies have turned it over again. There to jump on the loose football is Christian Kirshner. And after a good start to the drive on 2nd and 4, Lewis fumbles the ball away. Washington's second turnover.
Lewis was just following the fullback pretty much straight up the middle, and somebody got a hand on it. Ball hit the ground, and Washington gives the ball up. And they had, the Levy counterplay really was a good start to the drive, but couples that they're hurting.
1st and 10, New Brighton. Lions take over at their own 45. Single back with Pugh. Dan comes in motion. It's Montanez takes the handoff. Montanez gets to midfield and into Washington territory where he's taken down. Got back up and kept running and going to get a couple of extra yards out of that.
Montanez really, he runs the speed motion coming across. And they flipped it to him, and he gets up, and then it's a great decision of turning inside and then blasting to the outside. Nice job on his part. Hughes comes over to make the hit, and so that's really, in my opinion, other than the touchdown, the best offensive moment they've had tonight.
11-yard pickup and just the second first down of the game for New Brighton. The first movement after a takeaway for either team now. 4 turnovers total in the game. Lions 1st and 10. Pugh step forward, and then he goes down as tried to cut away. Lewis pressed the action on the outside, and Pugh had to cut up inside of that. Goes down at the line of scrimmage.
Good point, partner. Lewis was up to the outside, and so did not give Pugh any opportunity to try to break to the outside, and so he tried to cut up, but nothing was there. Eddie Lewis, I don't know that he actually made the hit, but he was the key defensive person in that situation.
Leechburg 14, California 7, Springdale 14, West Green nothing. Both of those at the half. Shenango 24, Carmichael 17 at the break, and flags at the snap. Dead ball false start against the Lions.
Yeah, looked like kind of a half wanted to and half didn't know where to go. So
5-yard mark off third of the game against New Brighton. So it's 2nd down and 15. The Lions at the Washington 49. 3 receivers this way, 1 at the top of the formation. Pugh with a single back with him is Deshaun Harmon. Pugh on a quarterback draw, cuts left and right up the middle, hit by Harper, but not before 10, maybe 11 yards on the carry for Pugh.
That time Pugh fakes, and then instead of trying to get to the outside, he just goes straight up over the center guard area, makes a nice run out of it, bobs and weaves, and puts it into a very manageable 3rd down situation here. And New Brighton out of the huddle in a hurry.
3rd down and 4 at the Washington 38, 8:45 to play, 3rd quarter, 7-7 tie. Hughes walks up, just over the line of scrimmage. The Pugh on the quarterback keeper runs to the left, caught 3 about, did not get the 4th yard, and is the Washington player slow to get up, but now that's squared away, and that's Brendan Seibert. 3-yard run, needed 4. It's 4th and 1.
I would imagine you'll see New Brighton go for it. Washington does bring Fuse off the edge, partner, as you mentioned. Boy, that's a formidable kind of sight to see him come off the edge as he does. Odd formation now as it's full house. for New Brunswick.
4th down and 1, and the carry by Harmon's going to get the first down. Harmon got the legs taken out from under, but he went over the pile, and I think he got easily inside the 34-yard line, and that's a first down. Yep, the length of the ball inside the 34. Move the sticks.
They got into that power set that they ran at the end of the first half. It's the inverted-looking wishbone, I guess, for lack of a better way of saying it. They have two dive backs. That time they ran the ball with the right dive back, and he was able to hit up in there and get the first down. And New Brighton continues to move the football.
7.5 minutes to play in the third. Trips to the left side. Single receiver right. Pugh brings a man. Montanez in motion. Hands him the ball. Montanez trying to come wide around the side. Get to the 30. Hit low and high and goes down at about the 28. The ball went out of bounds as well. Montanez is going to get to his feet, but the ball fumbled out of bounds, goes out at the 31. He paid a price for that run.
Because Z broke to the outside. The defender from Washington came up from the outside, but then inside the man was trailing the play, hitting him from under the backside. So it's good he's able to get up and keep moving there.
Gain of 3. Ball belongs to the Lions where it went out of bounds. That's the Washington 31. And now Davian Willis gets offside, but he's complaining about the same thing that I've referenced 3 or 4 times, and that is the hand movement forward by quarterback Gary Pugh with the hard bark. And there are game officials who would call that as a false start.
I think you're probably right, partner, but nonetheless, got to key the ball in your defender and not pay attention to what the quarterback's doing over there. So right now it's 2nd and short.
2nd and 2 at the Washington 26. Clock turning at the snap. Pugh standing in the pocket clean. Now rolls left. Flag is down. Pass is caught inside the 25. Stood up at the 20-yard line. Lewis with a good tackle, but there's a holding penalty coming up against the Lions. The catch by Montanez. This holding flag is going to be at the 30-yard line, so that's 4 yards deep, 10 yards from that spot. The play is going to end up back out at the 40-yard line.
Well, that really puts a hurting on New Brighton. They had made a nice play out of that. Pugh had broken contain and then put the ball nicely in position for the receiver, and they had the first down, but now it goes from great to really difficult 2nd and long.
Yeah, 2nd and 2 to 2nd and 16. Yeah. 3 receivers this way from the 40. Pugh on the snap, and he carries it himself, weaves his way through a couple of players, but then is taken down after a short gain. Isaiah Patterson in on the stop.
Patterson made a great play in the first half, and a nice play right there as well, and finished off the play. See Samaj Fuse is in the ball game now for the little Prexies. They're rotating some linemen.
Stowe Rocks 41, Shady Side Academy 8, Fox Chapel 13, Upper St. Clair 3. 3rd down and 14 for New Brighton at the Washington 38-yard line. Pugh says something to Harmon, takes the snap. Harmon stays in the block. Pass across the middle is caught at the Washington 25. Trying to break out of a tackle and unable to get to the first down is Keandre Williams, but a big pickup there to set up 4th down and manageable.
4th down and frankly short. You just put the ball up there, and nice going up and getting it for New Brighton.
It's an 11-yard pickup. 4th down and 3. Once again, Pugh with that hard count and the chop of both hands. 4th and 3 at the Washington 27. Pressure coming right up the middle, pass to the left side. Williams trying to get back to the ball, and he's unable to make the catch. Devon Fuse there fighting with him, and Williams up over the shoulders, and the ball is going to go over on downs. So both teams have gotten enough defense to avoid points off turnovers.
I think the New Brighton coaches above us were having the revival meeting. They were pretty upset with what they thought was interference, but not to be the case. So Washington will get the football back.
Washington will take over at the 27-yard line after New Brighton had picked up a couple of first downs. And again, neither team, that's as much rhythm as we saw. New Brighton ran 9 plays on that possession, converted a 4th and 1, and then could not convert a 4th and 3. So Washington takes over. High backfield, running play to the right side. Little bobble with a handoff by Levy. Gets it under control, but gets just a yard to the 28.
New Brighton, again, that's the lead play we've seen a number of times through the year here at Washington. And New Brighton has done a great job of standing up against that because Washington's offensive line has been very much often up to the challenge. Tonight, New Brighton is standing in there with them toe-to-toe, and Levy is not getting that easy running space to then accelerate and make a cut.
It is a one-play ball game, 7-7 tie, 4:25 to play in the third. Washington 2nd and 9 from its own 28. High backfield, 2 receivers wide to the right, tight end to the left. Make the toss, pass across the middle, looking for Xavier Willis. Makes the catch. He's across midfield, trying to break out of a jersey tackle. I'm going to get spun around and thrown to the ground. But Willis, who had a couple of catches last week for touchdowns, almost took that one to the house.
And partner, I'll tell you, they clearly knew where they wanted to go with the football there. Fuse threw it almost before it appeared that the receiver was open. So well-designed play, and that's a way to get your offense in the rhythm. Using play action and then throwing the ball, knowing where you have a good matchup, and nice pitch and catch there between the receiver and the quarterback.
1st and 10, Washington at the New Brighton 33-yard line, 39-yard pickup on that pass play. Fuse hands to Carlos Harper, and Harper flips it back to Fuse. Stiff arm by Fuse to get out of the backfield and get back to the line of scrimmage. Harper was in all kind of trouble. Trent Porter had a hold of him, and then he just flips it back, and Fuse runs around the corner to get something out of that.
I tell you, Trent Porter has been a force inside. Harper looked like he was going to be able to make a cut in the trap hole up in the middle, and nice job as Porter grabbed onto him and met him chest to chest. And then, you know, sometimes when you do that impromptu stuff, it turns out pretty ugly. That time, you know, they made a couple out of it, so to their credit.
Gain of a yard, 2nd down and 9 at the New Brighton 32. Peters Township up on North Hills 21-14. It's now Laurel 34, McGuffey 2. Fuse, pass, dumped it off, complete to Griffin, makes the catch, holds on to the ball, goes down at the 27-yard line, picked up 5 on that catch.
The Twins look to the outside as given opportunity, and I think Washington seeing that now, knowing that they have a corner out there and then they have a safety that's favored that way, but really don't have anybody to take care of the flat easily. Nice play, though, defensively by Montanez as he comes up. He is a tough guy. You can see he's kind of hurting a little bit as he walks around, but he's made plays all night long.
Just the 3rd catch of the year for Griffin. 4 completions tonight for Fuse, 4 different receivers. 7-7 tie as we click under 2 minutes to play in the third. Running play, patient work, and carried close to a first down by Tayshawn Levy. Will move the sticks.
And we've seen early in the year that they've had great success getting up in there, and they like to run behind their left side of the offensive line. Levy that time following Harper's block, and they rolled up in there and got the first down, and I'm sure that the coaches are happy to see that at Washington. They're running behind Cameron Carter-Green, and I believe that is correct. In addition Also Isaiah Patterson on that side.
1st and 10 at the New Brighton 20. Now it's Lewis dotting the I. Toss to the right to Lewis. Harper trying to lead him to the corner. Lewis inside the 20, the 10, and going to the house. Touchdown, Eddie Lewis. First touchdown of the year, I believe. No, I don't think that's right. Now that I say that, my apologies.
Well, whether it is or it isn't, partner, that was a nice toss. Lewis does a nice job of keeping his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, and then when he finds the opportunity to accelerate, he did so, and then just weave down the sideline and gets a touchdown. And that is a nice drive by the Washington offense. There is some rhythm there now, and I'm sure Coach Bosnick will try to work off of that and try to continue that trend.
Second touchdown of the year for Eddie Lewis. Fumbled the ball away earlier and finds his way to the house. Blanchett. The kick up and good out of the hold of Elijah Thomas. Washington in front for the first time tonight. 1:10 to play in the third. Washington 14, New Brighton 7. Back on WJPA in just a moment.
First Federal Savings and Loan of Greene County reminds you, don't fall victim to debit card fraud. With the Card Valet mobile app, you'll get real-time alerts when your card is used. Plus, you can review transactions and set spending limits. Download it today from the App Store or Google Play. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, NMLS 458729. First Federal of Greene is hiring now for the Taylorstown office. You can become a full-time customer service rep. Apply in person or online now at firstfederalofgreene.com.
Orthodontics isn't just for children. Orthodontics is for everyone. Choose good orthodontics. Doctors Bob and Ron Good, board-certified specialists in orthodontics and facial orthopedics. Call for an appointment, 412-655-4660. Good Orthodontics with offices in Washington, Mount Lebanon, and on Old Clairton Road, Pleasant Hills. See all the good a simple smile can do. Call Good Orthodontics, 412-655-4660. Excellence is a good choice. Choose Good Orthodontics.
Washington goes 73 yards in 6 plays, the final 20 yards. Eddie Lewis, the freshman running back, scampers in for the score. His second touchdown of the year. Blanchett's extra point as Washington in front 14-7. Lions back deep to receive, and the kick is going to carry back to the 15-yard line, return the hash, and now to the numbers, and out of bounds near the 30-yard line. And on the return, Kyler Rombold running the sideline and stepped out and then got tackled, but that's not, and it is not penalized, and nor should it be. Trying to, fake people that I'm going out of bounds. Well, hey, guess what? You get tackled at that point, you get tackled.
Right.
Off to the 33-yard line, about a 23-yard return for Rombold. 1:03 to play in the third. Mohawk 28, Chartiers Houston 12 early in the fourth. Peters Township 21, North Hills 14. That's in the third. New Brighton has 3 first downs in the game, but one play away from tying it. Keandre Williams comes in motion. Pugh sails the ball into four-way coverage. The pass is tipped around, and it is intercepted. Tayshawn Levy with the pick. He's up across the 45, bring it near side, trying to set up a blocker, 45, and down at about the 41-yard line. Threw that pass into four-way coverage. Rombold, the intended target, and Washington had covered front and back, but he still got his hands on the ball. His hand put it up in the air where Levy was able to pick it off.
If he doesn't tap the ball up, it just falls to the ground. I mean, there's no question, but the ball batted up, and then Levy got his hands on it, makes a nice play, and now Washington with a chance to go right back at the offensive side of it and make something happen.
Washington has 0 points, minus 2 yards off turnovers tonight. They get their third takeaway, second interception of the game thrown by Gary Pugh, and the 10th thrown this year. But Washington has the offense on the field. 1st and 10 at the New Brighton 41. Running play, it's Eddie Lewis. Hitting the backfield and taken down for a loss of a yard.
That time they ran a little step counter action, and Lewis appears part of the injury.
Lewis loses a yard. Washington doesn't have to snap the ball, and why would you when you're leading? If you don't have to, let the time disappear, and it will wind into the evening sky here. Washington 14, New Brighton 7. We're at the end of 3, back on WJPA and the Trib Live High School Sports Network in just a minute.
At Huntington, we've been asking ourselves, is there a way to make payday faster? And good news, everyone. Now, if your direct deposit is set up at Huntington, we'll make your paycheck available to you up to 2 days early and with no added cost to you. If you're wondering, why would a bank do that? We get it. But for us, it's about looking out for people. That's how we reinvent banking. Huntington, welcome. Direct deposit and eligibility requirements apply. Learn more at huntington.com/earlypay.
Become one of tomorrow's leaders today. Begin your journey with the right education at Washington and Jefferson College. Join us for the W&J Experience Visit Day tomorrow. Learn about the W&J College community as you meet with faculty, students, staff, and coaches. Enjoy campus tours and explore all we have to offer. W&J, your future, founded here. Visit washjeff.edu/visit to register. That's washjeff.edu/visit.
End of 3 quarters here at Wash High Stadium, 14-7 Washington. I said 35 because that's the end of third quarter score for Rochester over Mapletown. And Laurel now with a running clock against McGuffey. It is 41-2 in favor of the MAC Conference champion Laurel Spartans.
I heard they're pretty good, partner.
They are indeed. Washington second down and 11 at the New Brighton 42. High backfield behind Fuse, running play to Levy, left side. He's got 5, he's got 10 and more. Now cuts to his left and almost ran out of it, down inside the 22-yard line.
And that lead play that they like to run, and that time Levy got himself going, and I was impressed that New Brighton was able to finish off the tackle. I think, partner, did you say there was Montanez on the tackle?
I did not.
Okay, well, I think it might have been that guy over there. He's a tough kid. I will say this: they play a pretty tough conference, and you can see that because they're not backing up here.
1st and 10, Washington at the New Brighton 21. Fuse with that high backfield behind and movements in the backfield. False start on Washington.
Certainly it'd be the time of the game where Washington would like to put this thing away and leave no doubt. So I'm sure that they've got to focus on getting in the end zone here. They've been successful running the football the last couple of drives. See if they stay with that kind of thinking.
1st and 15 now. At the 26, Fuse on a quick count, hands the ball off, and 3 New Brighton players there to take Tayshawn Levy down after a gain of a yard.
And that New Brighton defense has shown its money in making plays in that situation. They look a little banged around. Trevon Phillips, I think, was a part of that tackle. He kind of limped around a bit and made the play. And Ronnie Jones also for New Brighton. And so Washington now second and long.
2nd down and 14 at the 25. 2 receivers wide to the right. Fuse will look to put it up and does. Throws the ball for the end zone, has a man behind the coverage, but good recovery there to knock the ball away from Crutcher by Keandre Williams.
And again, Keandre Williams has shown here tonight that you don't see high school corners making plays like that where they'll fight through the receiver's hands. You'll see it tomorrow if you turn on, a Division I football game, but you rarely see it at this level, and that was exactly what happened there. Williams slid his way back into it and knocked the ball down. It's a nicely thrown football, by the way, and good effort.
3rd and 14 at the New Brighton 25. Clock stop with the incompletion. 10:22 to play in the 4th. Washington leading 14-7. Hughes on the pitch back to Levy, who's in all kind of trouble. Not fooled at all, and Levy shoved backwards from the 30-yard line. Big loss on the play here, and it'll bring up 4th and long.
Again, New Brighton has shown that willingness to take those kinds of things on. Washington, other than the Eddie Lewis touchdown toss, hasn't had a lot of success to the outside like that, although the toss to Lewis to get in the end zone was really good. But New Brighton has been strong here, and now, not only is Washington in danger of giving up the ball, but, if they don't get any yards out of this, they're going to get the ball up, out past the 30-yard line.
Well, they're not going to punt. I'll tell you that. Have to get to the 11-yard line. 4th and 20. Hughes slides to his right, sets and throws. Flag down in the backfield. Pass is intercepted. And a return out across the 25-yard line. New Brighton's going to take over on the Little Prexies' 3rd turnover of the night. McKay with the pick. And the Washington holding penalty will be declined. New Brighton with 9:23 to play in the game, down by a touchdown, has the ball back in hand.
They went, no backs in that situation, so they were trying to give Hughes a chance to make an easy read, and he stepped up and then tried to really drill the ball in there, but was well read by the defense, and so New Brighton comes up big again on defense.
Washington has fumbled it away twice and thrown an interception. New Brighton has thrown 2 interceptions and lost a fumble. Lions 1st and 10. Pugh looked like he wanted to sling it to the right, and he ends up not going there and throws and keeps it himself and gets a yard on the run. That's Pugh.
Not sure, because Montanez was the guy that looks like he was going to receive the wide receiver screen. He looked a little frustrated, but he decided to keep it, get up in there, so he gets a yard and lives to play another day.
And part of that wide receiver screen, obviously, is the timing of the play. And I'm not sure, did Pugh not have a good handle on the ball? I mean, he just made a really quick decision to eschew throwing the ball and run with it. Lions motion to reset everybody. Trips this way, and now they send Montanez and hand him the football, trying to take it up the middle, and he's going to get a yard and nothing more. Eddie Lewis there on the stop, along with Elijah Wise.
And they just ran that little tap pass, and Montanez, who's certainly willing to do the difficult things here tonight, cut up hard, but there's no room for him to get free, and so now New Brighton in a long situation, and Washington perhaps looking for kind of a recovery of some interception or fumble.
3rd down and 8 for the Lions at their own 30. Trips to the right, single receiver to the left. Pugh looking one way now, rolls to his left, throws back into the middle of the field, and that's intercepted. Diving grab. Defender, is it going to be ruled an interception?
There's a penalty, partner.
Okay. Penalty flag at the New Brighton 45-yard line. Did Washington hold?
I think it could well be against Washington. I mean, I don't know for sure, but it's in that general territory.
The Little Prexies are backing up. Pass interference against Washington. It's a 15-yard mark off. And so the ball will come out to the 45-yard line.
And there were a lot of guys around the receiver, so I didn't see what
I didn't see interference. I was right where the ball was, so
I don't know what they called there, but nonetheless, Washington needs to certainly get a stop here. They don't want to give New Brighton life in this situation.
So the ball out to the 45, 7:50 to play in the ball game. Washington leading 14-7. Williams goes in motion. Pugh fakes to him, keeps it himself. Pugh ran out of a tackle and steps out of bounds in Washington territory.
And that faking action, RPO action, where they fake the football going to the right, and then Pugh just keeps it. And he has presence. He makes decisions about where to run the football, doesn't get ahead of himself at all. That time he just found a good spot and got up in for nice yardage on first down.
8-yard pickup and got out of bounds as well. That stopped the clock. Washington 14, New Brighton 7. Williams is wide to the right. 3 receivers to the New Brighton sideline. Few with a single back within. That's Deshaun Harmon. Few keeps it himself. Tried to slip off contact. The ball ripped out by Cameron Carter-Green, but correctly called down on the play. Yeah. Ball ripped out after Pugh was on the ground in the arms of Cameron Carter-Green. This is close to a first down.
It is. I don't think it
is short, just short.
Quarterback draw action that time, and they liked Pugh quite a bit to have his hands on the ball, and understandably so. So third and extremely short.
Clock was stopped that whole time, and not sure why that was the case, but it was. Referee winds it. Third down, a little less than 1, and it's going to be Harmon who gets the call and the first down as he just powers his way to the Washington 43-yard line.
And that power I said, now that I get a chance to see it from this angle, was actually on balanced line. So they have a lineman over on that side, and they just dive it up in there behind that offset line, and they get the first down.
The Lions' 2021 season may ride on this possession. 7 minutes to play in the ball game. Brighton down 7. First and 10 at the Washington 43. Williams comes in motion, takes the handoff. Stood up at about the 41-yard line and then taken down. Gain of 2.
Williams came in motion, and they got him the football, an inside handoff, and he just made a vertical cut decision and really powered up in over the guard tackle hole. Kind of an odd way of going about it, but got a couple out of it. Brighton, I'm sure now, late in the ball game, Washington territory, and we'll just try to power it down the field.
Second down and 8 at the Washington 41. Slot man Williams motions across. Pugh hands off to the tailback as Noah Stoffen gets his first call of the night and gets maybe the length of the football.
Philip Patterson makes a play. I tell you, that was a big play because there weren't a lot of other bodies around when that happened, and so Patterson comes up big. He's a guy that they count on to maintain his line of scrimmage location. At that time, he came up with a big play individually.
Third down and about 7 at the Washington 40. 5.5 minutes to play in the ball game. Washington leading 14-7. New Brighton 40 yards away from a potential tie or the lead. Pugh calls for and gets the shotgun snap. Stands in a clean pocket, reloads, pulls it down, trying to run to the sidelines. Going to get the first down inside the 30 and finally out of bounds at about the 23-yard line.
And much like Devon Fuse does for Washington, Pugh has that same capacity and just made a decision to get to the outside and easily got the first down, and now deep into Washington territory, and it's kind of getting to be nailed by Parker.
This looks oddly familiar. Didn't we just do this last week?
Yeah.
Unbeaten Hampton Talbots rallied late and beat Plum 14-13 in our what I believe is our first final score of the night. We get a timeout. New Brighton 5:13 to play in the fourth. Washington 14, New Brighton 7. Back on WJPA in just a moment.
Being a rebel has its perks. I should know. President George Washington here. When you sign up for Rebellion checking at Washington Financial Bank, enjoy things like higher interest rates, cash back on purchases, refunds on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, and even ATM fees. Learn more and join the rebellion at washfin.bank. That's WASHFIN.bank. Member FDIC.
If you're hurt or injured in an accident, do you know what to do or what not to do? The first thing you should do is call Attorney Brian Peasy in Washington, 724-228-9000. Insurance company lawyers are working to fight your claim, and Attorney Brian Peasy will be working too, for you. Help is right here in Washington. No need to go to Pittsburgh. Call Attorney Brian Peasy, 724-228-9000. Small town attention, big city results.
Ninth play of the possession for New Brighton. They bring Keandre Williams in motion, hand him the football, and he cuts it right up the middle. Picks up a first down and then some inside the 10 and dragged down at about the 4-yard line.
Well, I tell you, that is really something. Just brought him in motion, and when he gets the football, a lot of times when they come in motion like that, they'll go to the outside. He just took a couple of steps, put his foot in the ground, and just exploded straight up the field, and then made a nice run. And once he had contact, just kept driving the lanes. And now, New Brighton, here they are in their power I set.
First and goal at the Washington 4. Pugh hands off to Harmon, and Harmon is stood up, met chest to chest by Samaj Hughes.
Just that power dive set. And as you said, partner Samaj Hughes, who at times is really explosive, makes the play for the Little Prexies. But second and inside the 5. And obviously, this is 4-down territory.
Second and goal at the Washington 3. Pugh hands it back the other way and flipping a tackle at the 5 and going to the end zone for the touchdown is Blake McKay.
Ran the end around. It was really well designed, and they faked the ball up inside out of that power set and handed the ball off and around to the outside, although Washington was in position to make the play. Just didn't finish it off. So now New Brighton is going to line up to kick it.
Peters Township 28, North Hills 20 at the end of 3. Extra pointed kick by Pavlich. Snap and hold are good, and kick beats the rush. The kick is good. 3:57 to play in the 4th. Washington 14, New Brighton 14. Kickoff on WJPA when we come back.
Slovenian Savings and Loan gives you the best of both worlds. When you bank with Slovenian Savings and Loan, you get the most up-to-date conveniences, including their new mobile banking app, so you can bank anywhere, anytime, and checking accounts with great rates without all the fine print. Combine that with traditional values and the ability to build personal customer relationships. It's everything you want from your bank. Slovenian Savings and Loan on Boone Avenue in Strabane. Learn more at sloveniansavings&loan.com.
The Winter Festival of Lights, a holiday tradition at Ogilvie and Wheeling, is open now through January 9th. Marvel at 300 acres of twinkling holiday lights and displays over a 6-mile drive. New this year, a 70 feet tall welcome tree combining color, music, lights, and animated images, and many of your favorite sights come to life this year with sound. The Festival of Lights is open now through January 9th at Ogilvie. Find out more at ogilvie.com/lights.
Lions kick off on the bounce. It gets back to Devon Hughes, and Hughes gets to the sideline. He's finally pushed out of bounds in New Brighton territory, and that was just take it and sprint. Devon Hughes across midfield.
I really think New Brighton made a tactical error there. There is no way I'm letting that guy get the football in that situation. They kicked it to him, and he just scooped it and ran, and his explosiveness is obvious to just about anybody here tonight.
Picked the ball up about his own 25. 39 yards thereabouts on the return. 3:50 to play in the game. 14 all tie. That New Brighton drive, 72 yards, 11 plays, 5.5 minutes off the clock in the 4th to tie. First and 10, Washington at the New Brighton 36. Toss left, a little high. Levy had to reach up and grab it, and now he's going to get knocked down shy of the line of scrimmage.
Conor Rumbold has been a force out there defensively. Maintained the edge as he was needed to, and then help to continue with some help from others to bring Levy down. And can't say enough about this New Brighton defense. I mean, Washington has been explosive on offense all year long. And with the exception of the long plays by Fuse and Eddie Lewis, that's not been the case tonight.
Second down and 11 at the New Brighton 37. Tight end left, split end flanker right. Fuse up under center with the eye back behind him. Toss left. Harper trying to set the edge for Lewis. Lewis gets the inside the 30, the 25, and out of bounds for a first down.
Partner, you say that young man's a freshman. I like him a lot. He is explosive to the outside, and he just has that natural ability to run in space. Nice toss action, and Harper, meanwhile, also very important because he is willing to lead and block out there. And so now Washington first and 10 at the 25.
And the clock turning. Lewis clearly ran out of bounds. At the 25-yard line, first and 10. Washington has all 3 timeouts remaining. Fuse came out without the snap, scrambled for the loose ball, and the Lions are going to pick it up. Washington's 4th turnover of the night and 3rd in the second half. And New Brighton has the football with 2:29 to play.
Now, obviously, New Brighton has not been what I would call prolific on offense tonight, and they have quite a long field to go. And so Washington just needs to come forward and play good defense. But, you know, they talk about momentum in high school football, and right now, clearly, momentum is not with Washington.
New Brighton at its own 12 with 2:29 to play. First and 10. Pugh on the quarterback draw, grabbed by the jersey and taken down by Cameron Carter-Green.
You know, I watched that play, partner. We talked about this a couple of minutes ago. It looks like Pugh has a choice between throwing it out to the wide receiver screen looker to run the football because it looks as though they're prepared to receive it out there. And I could be wrong, but nonetheless, there really wasn't anything there for Pugh. And so it's a second and long.
14-14 tie. New Brighton scored to take a 7-0 lead. Washington tied, then went up in the third, 14-7. The Lions just scored a few moments ago, and now Washington turned it over for a 4th time. Second down, Pugh with the keeper, and he is ridden to the ground again. Cameron Carter-Green with the stop at the 14-yard line. 1:34 to play. And the ball at the New Brighton 14. Washington uses the timeout. I have that as the Little Prexies first. 1:34 remaining.
Oh, let's not forget they just need 20 seconds. So.
Exactly.
I mean,
we saw that a week ago.
They just need 20 seconds. So no reason to be totally concerned. I just really, just being very objective, it shocked me that New Brighton could go this far in that amount of time, with the exception of that first touchdown, which Washington, if they give up another one of those tonight, I'll be flabbergasted. So we'll see.
New Brighton, 3rd down and 8. The Lions at their own 14-yard line. Nick Blanchett, he's like a caged man right there, just wanting that ball to be snapped to fire across, and there he goes. Pugh on a slanted pass is behind the intended receiver, Blake McKay, incomplete, and it brings up 4th down.
That really was, you kind of think about what options you have, and they made a choice to throw the end slide, the tight post kind of route, and all not in the best place. But now they're going to punt the football. Washington should get great field position here, and as we said, all he needs is 20 seconds. Sort of referring back to last week, but obviously Houston very explosive
Third punt of the game for Keandre Williams, and New Brighton is going to use a timeout. That is the Lions' second. We'll take one as well. 91 seconds to play in the fourth. 14-14 tie. Back on WJPA in just a moment.
This is Scott Day from the Day Insurance Agency. There are lots of ads about car insurance these days, offering you savings of 10, 20, and even 30%. And we often get customers back who have tried some of those offers. At the Day Insurance Agency, you'll find people you know, people you can talk to, and good car insurance rates without all the gimmicks. The Day Insurance Agency on East Maiden Street in Washington, on Main Street in Hickory, or online at dayinsurance.com.
You're 4-6, but everybody's even. You don't fake punt. You don't see any way you run a fake.
Oh, no.
I didn't think. I was just...
No.
Final score from Meadowlands, 34-12, Mohawk over Chartiers Houston. The Bucks playoff drought continues. Washington hoping not to go on a 3-game losing skid in the playoffs. The punt is away. It is very short and coming out of bounds on the New Brighton bench. That's going to go out of bounds at about the 29-yard line.
So, New Brighton's worst fear comes true there, because now Washington here on the 29-yard line, a minute 26. So plenty of opportunity for Washington to run its offense. I think I'll say what some people might be thinking here. Certainly Washington needs to take care of the football. But certainly it seems to me that between Tayshawn Levy and Devon Fuse and Harper, they should be able to punch it in here.
Levy, 13 touches tonight, 12 runs and a 1 pass reception. Levy is right beside Devon Fuse in the shotgun. 2 receivers wide each way. Fuse keeps it himself. Straight ahead is shoved back from the 27-yard line. Took a little pop afterwards, and good job by the referee to step in and say, that's all right there.
Well, Trent Porter, the big young man in the middle of that defense, just continues to be strong inside, and others right with him, but they got a hold of Fuse because he faked the ball as he's done all night and then just exploded up in there, and there was just nowhere to go.
Washington at 9-0. 50 seconds to play in the game in a 14-14 tie. Fuse takes the shotgun snap, pass to the left, off the fingertips at the 25, incomplete. Tried to get the ball to Griffin. That'll stop the clock without using a timeout. 40 seconds remaining. Devon Fuse is just 4 of 14 for 69 yards and 1 interception through the air tonight.
Looking at, they're subbing in some different guys now. Not sure what.
Lewis is in the backfield.
Blanchett's in.
He's been regularly at their tight end spot.
Okay.
Washington comes heavy right. Toss to the right. Reverse field, Lewis trying to set up a block. Trying to get out of the backfield, and he's not going to. Dragged down, caught from behind by Deshaun Harmon.
That is really something. Harmon tracked him down from behind and made the tackle.
And we're going to overtime. Washington Washington may take one more shot at it. But I'm surprised that they used the timeout when they did.
You got to take a shot here. My goodness.
I know, but don't you want to either get the touchdown or the clock runs out? You certainly don't want to give the ball back to New Brighton at all here. They have the big play of the game.
Yeah, but I don't.
Okay.
I don't see that. They can still get a first down here. And
my apologies. I overlooked that little detail there.
It's okay.
In the fourth, East Allegheny over Southmoreland 30-9. I don't think Southmoreland's ever won a playoff game. Yeah, and they're...
Well, I may be way back.
No, I don't think.
Oh, really?
I think they're chasing their first, and it's not likely to happen tonight.
They've had some great players there. Linemen, mostly.
Washington has been to the quarterfinals every year since 2013, and that is in peril.
Well, it's going to become known if they make a touchdown here. It's juice time.
4th down and 11 at the New Brighton 30. Hughes takes the snap, gets pressure right up the middle, swims away from that, rolls to his right, keeps the play alive, and just kind of chucks the ball downfield. It's tipped away incomplete, and New Brighton's going to take over with 9 seconds to play at their own 30-yard line.
And I'm pretty sure we're going to go to overtime. But, it's go to overtime. Any possibilities. I mean, it's not like it's an obvious outcome. And particularly, I would say this, particularly the way New Brighton has played defense tonight, that could very well be the case.
It looks like New Brighton's going to kneel it down, but you cannot give up a trick either. Washington's offense just never got into rhythm. New Brighton with the 5-minute drive to tie the game, kick the extra point, and they are elated on the near sideline and look rather dejected in Columbia blue walking the other way. We're going to go to overtime, and we will go there when we come back on WJPA in just a minute.
First Federal Savings and Loan of Greene County reminds you, don't fall victim to debit card fraud. With the Card Valet mobile app, you'll get real-time alerts when your card is used. Plus, you can review transactions and set spending limits. Download it today from the App Store or Google Play. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, NMLS 458729. First Federal of Greene is hiring now for the Taylorstown office. You can become a full-time customer service rep. Apply in person or online now at firstfederalofgreene.com.
Orthodontics isn't just for children. Orthodontics is for everyone. Choose Good Orthodontics. Doctors Bob and Ron Good, board-certified specialists in orthodontics and facial orthopedics. Call for an appointment, 412-344-4663. Good Orthodontics, with offices in Mount Lebanon, in Washington, and in Pleasant Hills. See all the good a simple smile can do. Call Good Orthodontics, 412-344-4663. Excellence is a good choice. Choose Good Orthodontics.
Over the shoulder grab, Cameron O'Brien, touchdown, 94 yards.
W&J plays another must-win game this week when the 22nd ranked Presidents travel to take on Carnegie Mellon. Hear W&J football on 1450 AM WJPA and online at WJPA.com. Coverage starts with Presidents football preview at 12:30. W&J football on 1450 AM WJPA. Brought to you by Account Master and Money Concepts, Bukar Group, Slovenian Savings and Loan, and visit WheelingWV.com.
Washington going to overtime in the playoffs for just the second time. The first time since 1995 and the 14-13 OT loss to Burrell. Interesting little note about that game. Burrell upset New Brighton in the semifinals. To get to the game, Washington may have thought, because Washington and New Brighton were 1-2 all year long in 95, and may have been a little bit of a letdown. They look past, they take for granted something, and then Burrell beat Washington in overtime. The Little Prexies, New Brighton, Burrell scored, kicked the extra point. Washington scored and went for two and didn't get in with the GMC offense, Gatton, Carl, and Molinaro, and didn't get in the end zone. And Burrell won the WPIAL. 2 years before that, Washington beat West Allegheny 17-14 in overtime on the way to the WPIAL championship. So we got all kind of things that are going to happen here. It's going to be first and goal at the 10. And then the other team gets it first and goal at the 10. And then if we are still tied, we do it again. And we keep doing it again. The 9-0 team taken to OT by a squad that's 4-6. You know, they always say you shouldn't let someone hang around in a game that they shouldn't be in, and it doesn't always work out well for the team that shouldn't let somebody hang around, right?
There's no question about that. That's why I made the statement when Washington had the ball inside the 30 that they really need to get a touchdown and be done with it, and that didn't happen. So now, you know, here's the other thing you got to remember: if New Brighton gets a score here and Washington mishandles a snap, it's over. So,
and they've done that.
They have.
4 Washington turnovers, 3 in the second half. And Washington, with the 3 takeaways against the Lions, did nothing, got nothing out of those 3 takeaways.
Well, we got switching things around.
It looks like New Brighton is going to go first and drive toward the scoreboard. So we'll get overtime started. New Brighton with the ball to begin with. The Lions have won one playoff game since 2001. The Lower Prexies haven't lost here since 2013. And the results and whether those two things continue are going to be decided in overtime. Springdale 21, West Green, that's a final. 21-0 over West Green. Rochester 35-0. Leechburg 28-7 over California. That's a final. First and goal at the Washington 10-yard line. New Brighton sends 2 receivers to the right, tight end, and a slot to the left, single back with Gary Pugh in the backfield. And comes in motion. Hand the ball off. Now he bounces outside and going easily to the end zone. One play, touchdown, Keandre Williams.
And you know, it was just such an odd-looking play because he got the football and he ran up, you know, as he came in motion from the left side to the right, and they get him the ball on motion, and he hands it to him, and then he kind of ducks up and off tackle, and everything kind of collapses. All of a sudden he bounces out, and there's no one there, and it's a touch.
And Keandre Williams was never touched.
Once he broke to the outside, it was clear sailing. We got a Washington player down on the turf right now, so they're going to have to take some time to take a look at him. But you know, anything that can happen may happen, might just have happened.
No word on yet on who the injured player is. A couple other things on the play, George. It looked like the left side of the line didn't even really move from their stance right away as Williams went in motion and took that handoff, and it's like people were going in slow motion, and then he, as you said, he hit up in there, and then all of a sudden there was no more slow motion, but he was gone.
Yeah, I thought it was just I'd love to see the play on film because it's kind of a very odd, and you know, in fairness to Washington, that's a common issue at times when, you know, you're defending a play that sort of hits in off tackle, and then if it starts to bounce to the flank, having a guy that plays that outside edge, it's a common thing that they sometimes overcommit inside, and then you don't contain the guy, and he gets to the outside and in.
Elijah Wise, the injured Washington player, helped to the far side. Caden Pavlich for the PAT here in overtime. Beats the rush. The kick is good. New Brighton 21, Washington 14. The Little Prexies now in a must-score situation. 21-14 New Brighton. Washington offense when we come back on WJPA in just a minute.
At Huntington, we've been asking ourselves, is it possible to lend money at zero interest? And it totally is. Introducing Standby Cash. When you need extra cash, you can qualify for between $100 and $1,000 at Huntington. And it's free when you auto pay us back across 3 months. Why would a bank do that? Just to look out for people. That's how we reinvent banking. Huntington, welcome. Without automatic payments, 12% APR. Eligibility requirements apply. Amount available is based on customer eligibility. Learn more at huntington.com/standbycash.
George, you said if New Brighton goes in and scores, there's just no room for error. First and goal, Washington at the 10. Fuse, hands off, left side, running play. Bouncing it outside was Levy. Boy, and when he went outside, he ended up giving up anything that he had got. Levy taken down. Going to get a little bit, maybe 2. The Little Prexies have not been able to get wide against New Brighton. And so when you get up in there, you just got to keep getting up in there. Gain of a yard for Levy to the 9.
They send Eddie Lewis in and send Levy back to the outside. Lewis has been the successful outside runner tonight, so they want to toss to him. That might be the case. They run twins to the field now.
Short side is the left side. Second and goal at the 9. Fuse hands to Lewis. Lewis inside the 5. Touchdown.
That was easy. Washington got off the football. They ran behind their big guys on the left side of the offensive line, and Lewis just hit the Jets.
Well, now here's the question. Do you kick it or you go for 2?
Well,
I mean, you're by far not a perfect kicking team.
Well, truth to that. I think they're thinking about 2.
21-20, New Brighton by a point. The Little Prexies going to take a while to think about it.
They're going to take a timeout, I'm sure.
And they are indeed. Timeout on the field. The ball game hanging in the balance. New Brighton 21, Washington 20. Back on WJPA in just a minute.
Become one of tomorrow's leaders today. Begin your journey with the right education at Washington and Jefferson College. Join us for the W&J Experience Visit Day tomorrow. Learn about the W&J College community as you meet with faculty, students, staff, and coaches. Enjoy campus tours and explore all we have to offer. W&J, your future, founded here. Visit washjeff.edu/visit to register. That's washjeff.edu/visit.
21-20, New Brighton in front. Washington with the opportunity to kick and get that for a tie or go for 2 and the win. If you don't get in, the season is over. Decisions to be made on the Washington sideline.
Well, exciting, I'll say that.
It's twice. We thought we only needed 20 seconds last week. We need just, overtime. Here we go. And I think the offense is coming back out.
It certainly appears that way.
Yeah, Blanchard does not look like he's going into any kind of kick alignment.
Nope, twins to the field.
And now with that alignment, New Brighton uses a timeout. We stay in the same spot. The point after is due. 21-20 New Brighton. Back on WJPA in just a minute.
Hello, President George Washington here. Have you heard the news? The amazing checking rewards program at Washington Financial Bank is now called Rebellion Checking, a program that benefits you, the customer. New name, same perks, like refunds on ATM fees and cash back on purchases. Learn more and join the rebellion at washfin.bank. That's WASHFIN.bank. Member FDIC.
All right, you watched this whole game. What do you run?
Fuse. Get him on the flank, give him a pass run option, and let's do that. I mean, Eddie Lewis has been great for them in a lot of ways, but if they stuff him, then that's the end of that. He's physically dominant enough that if they can get him to the outside, maybe with bootleg action or sprint action, and give him a receiver to work with, and he either runs or throws. I mean, he only needs 3 yards for goodness sakes.
After the timeout, Little Prexies make their way back to the football. Harper, Griffin, Willis, bench to the left. It is Fuse on the perimeter. Hit and does not get in. Devon Fuse did not get in. And the New Brighton Lions have beaten the Little Prexies 21-20 in overtime.
Wow. I mean, what else can you say? Wow. I mean, I agree with getting the ball in Fuse